All right, both teams out here, Deanmill Oval. Round 2 clash between the Kojonup Cougars and the Deanmill Hawks. One coming off a 20-goal win against a team that knocked them out of the finals last year. That's Kojonup at home, won by 20 goals against Southerners. A bit undermanned Southerners, but be interested to see how Kojonup come out in season 2026. It'd be disappointing with their last 6 quarters of footy, finishing 2 games on top in the regular season and not giving themselves a chance to play off in the grand final. And their opponents today, the home team, Deanmill, they won the premiership last year by 6 goals against Southerners at Imperials. So they'll be looking at their first game at home, a narrow margin with their first win of the season last week against Imperials. They're a much improved Imperials side, so they'll be looking at home to enforce and get their second win of the season. So clash between 2 Titans, 2 teams that'll probably finish in the top 4, and depending on what positions, we'll get a good gauge of that today. So new skipper for the Kojonup Cougars in Harry Taylor, the power forward, and last year's premiership skipper for Deanmill in Blake East. A few photos taken in the middle of the ground. So Manjimup Tyrepower, classic clash today, filming footy out at the picturesque Deanmill Football Oval. A couple of new players for Deanmill this year in Rhett Lloyd. I don't know much about these players, and Cooper Childs. Didn't see the game last week due to personal commitments, but by all accounts they fitted in nicely. And they still have the big power forward in Jordan Strahan up at full forward. So Kojonup have won the toss. They'll kick to the Manjimup end. For those people that know Deanmill Oval, and to the right of our commentary box will be the Deanmill end, or the Buzz Box end for those locals that know that oval all too well. So as we said, a new skipper for Kojonup, Matt Marinoni. Not sure what happened there. He's the vice captain of this team, and Harry Taylor takes over the captaining role. And don't know Harry Taylor personally, but he's fitted into this league quite well. Comes from Margaret River, won a couple of premierships there in his first year in the Lower South West League, won a premiership. So 3 in a row for Harry, and he gets to lead the Cougars out at Deanmill Oval. Quite a strong side. Still got Kyron Hayden, Brad Ashton, some old familiar favourites, Mitch Blakers, the 2 Marinoni boys in Jamie and Matthew, the ever elusive small forward in Lee Lucifer, who did kick 7 last week, and Taylor himself, who kicked 4. Kyle Smith as well, smooth mover. Kyle Smith been around the footy club for 2 or 3 years. So they'll be looking for all those players to get their hands on the footy. And for Deanmill, well, their top 6 are as good as any. Blake East, the skipper. Joshua Reeve makes his way back into the side after a limited pre-season. Strawn down forward. Justin Bailey fills the full-back role, so he'll have his hands full today with either Lucif and or Harry Taylor. Callum East, the big power forward ruckman, comes into the side, and John T. East, after spending a year or 2 in the reserves, makes his way back into the league side. Jared Egger as well, he's an elusive small forward for Deanmill, so he'll be looking to get amongst the goals, and so will his teammates. And Riley Hetherington, last year's Colts Association medalist in his first real proper season of league footy. Silky left footer, so we look to see how he goes against a stronger opposition this week. Well, Nelly said here, Kojonup, as we said, won the toss. They'll be looking to make a statement early on in this season and try and make up for what they missed out on last year. They may or may not have won the premiership, but they didn't give themselves to get to that stage, to get into that side. So we look forward to seeing how this game shapes up. Martin Leggerini won a couple of association medals in the 2s and a couple of club first and bests, and he starts today, an elite runner. Skill sometimes lets him down a little bit, but he'll start on the wing and he'll use his skill and pace on that wing to see how he goes today. So Nick Gleeson also makes his way into the league side. He's a terrific player, won a first and best at club level a couple of years ago, an outstanding young talent. Limited pre-season, played in the 2s last week, but he's too good for that grade and straight into the league this week. Be interesting to see how he goes. Beautiful kick of the footy, outstanding in last year's grand final, and they'll be looking for him today to cover the ground. So Deanmill just getting themselves into position here. We have Rhett Lloyd, one of their imports in the middle, Riley Hetherington, as we've spoken about, Jacob Henry, will be first ruck today. Archie Hall misses out today, and the skipper Blake East. And on the far wing, clubroom side wing, is a youngster, played in the premiership last year, son of a gun in Kai McGinty. And down forward, Mason, Demetrio, Strawn himself, Jonty East and Jared Edgar. Up back, Gleeson fills one of those roles across half-back, so he'll pick up Lee Luciff. That'll be a great duel today. And Cooper Childs, another import, will take Jermaine Weasel. And Bailey ends up with Harry Taylor. So he's got a big job today, Justin Bailey, for the Hawks. So middle of the ground, big fella in Elijah Hayden will do the ruck work for Kojonup. He'll be up against Jacob Henry. And away we go. So Henry v Hayden. Umpire throws the ball up. Hayden wins the ball down. Comes to Smith, that man, over to Kyron Hayden. Handball out, and away they go through. Gwalder up forward. Ball nearly lands in Weasel's hands. Comes over to Childs. In they come once again. Handball out by Pethick. Over to the big fella Hayden, but he handballs it straight to his opposing ruckman in Jacob Henry. Edgar's there. He's got Jamie Marinoni for company. Handball comes back out to Edgar. Looks forward, goes down and finds the big chest of Strawn. Still too far out for goal. Looking there for Demetrio. Puts him under pressure. One grab, two grab. He couldn't take the ball. Well sport by Ben Taylor. Umpire's seen a free kick. And it'll go the way of Taylor. Comes on the far side of the ground. Not his best kick. And Legerini takes the overhead mark. Has East running for him. Gets a handball over to Lloyd. Good looking left foot kick. Looking for Demetrio. But in front of him, Smith takes the mark just inside defensive 50. So a couple of touches early for Smith. Goes straight up the middle of the ground. Looking for Marinoni. No one wants it. Bounces in the arms of Gleeson. He handballs straight towards Harry Golter. Comes back to Jamie Marinoni. Kicked a goal after the siren a couple of years ago to draw the game and then get his club a premiership. Umpire comes in. Will throw the ball up. Just inside the centre square. No scorers yet. And Henry and Hayden to do the ruck work. Ample flame of Hayden hits it straight down to Harry Golter, up towards Mitch Blakers. Mitch Blakers, it comes back to him. Now the ball's tied up. The umpire lets it go on. Lets it go, keep going on, but now he comes in. He'll throw the ball up about 30 metres out from Kojonup's goal. 2 minutes into this first quarter, no scorers yet. This time East does the ruck work, hits it straight to Weasel. Trying to be very clever there, comes over to Childs. Could have been tackled without the ball. Umpire lets it play on, comes out to Harry Golter, goes short and finds the chest of Weasel. And Jermaine Weasel for the Cougars will have the first shot on goal, 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. A bit of loose checking there by the Deanmill defence. Allows Weasel to take the chest mark uncontested. In he comes now. Deliberate shot on goal. He's pushed that across the face of goal, right across the face of goal. And it's gone out of bounds on the full. And the free kick to be taken by East, Callum East, that is, for Deanmill. So let off there for the Hawks. East goes long, straight down the line. Looks for Riley Mason, and Mason takes a strong mark in front of Marinoni. Riley Mason starting forward, but he's taken that mark just outside defensive 50. Switches play, looking there for Henry. That's a terrific kick, and Henry takes the mark in front of the opposing ruckman in Hayden. Goes short and finds Johnny East, centre wing. East goes long now, looking for Legerini. Goes over the back. Legerini, will it sit up for him? Martin Legerini, it does. He'll have a shot on goal. Decides to do the unselfish thing and finds Edgar in the goal square. An end-to-end there for the Hawks. Edgar will have a shot on goal. 10 metres out, slight angle. And he shouldn't make any mistake from here, Jared Edgar. In he comes now, one step, two step, and he doesn't make any mistake. And the opening goal of the clash between the Cougars and the Hawks goes the way of the home side, courtesy of Jared Edgar. So great kick there from Mason. Terrific mark on the far side of the ground. Switch play, found Henry. Henry hit Jonty East. Looked up there for Strawn. Legerini ran onto the ball and unselfishly found Edgar at the top of the goal square. And Edgar made no mistake for the opening score of the game. So terrific effort by the Hawks from deep in defence, coast to coast. And the ball back in the middle of the ground. So Henry versus Elijah Hayden. Hayden wins it down once again. Nice little deft tap on there by Kyle Smith to Kyron Hayden. Gets a handball back. Well tackled by Hetherington. Comes over to Gleeson. Could have been taken high. Umpire says no. And he'll throw it up right on forward 50 for the Cougars. Hayden once again wins it down towards Lachlan O'Shea. Spills out to Weasel. Handball over to Smith. Runs into an open goal. Umpire didn't move too far, but it's gone through for a behind. So a let off there for the Hawks. Smith has been prominent in the middle of the ground, playing as a tall ruck rover from 20 metres out. Puts it through for a minor score. Ball brought back into play along on the far side of the ground. Once again, Mason takes a terrific overhead mark. Goes long and finds that man, Henry. Over to Brock Tempera. Looks down for Strawn. And Strawn takes a mark. Inches off the ground. Gets the ball back to Brock Tempera. He looks for Jonty East. Outworks his opponent. It spills over the back. But the boundary line wins. That was Angus Johnson. A nice little spoil there as East was about to take the mark. The ball will be thrown in 40 metres out from Deanmill's goal. A couple of terrific marks by Riley Mason coming out of defence. Hayden gets his frame in front. Elijah Hayden for the Cougars. He's wrapped up straight away. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Still 40 metres out from Deanmill's goal. It's one down. To O'Shea, just chucks it onto his boot. Weasel in amongst a group of Deanmill players, wins the ball out but handballs it straight to Blake East, then affects the spoil. He's done well there, comes over to Smith, just sockers it off the ground, lands in the arms of Taylor. Harry Taylor gets a handball over to Blakers. It won't sit up for him. Tries once, tries twice. Nearly tackled there, holding the ball, spills back out to Weasel. Far side of the ground, East is there. And so is Ryan Tempera. Umpire to throw it in. 2 kicks out from Kojonup's goal. Henry wins it down, uncontested. It's straight down to Bellotti. In front is Bailey. And Bailey takes an uncontested chest mark in front of Taylor. And Justin Bailey goes wide. 2 grabs, 3 grabs. Blake East takes the mark just outside defensive 50. Wheels onto his left boot. Tries to go short towards Legerini, but in front of him is Kyron Hayden for the Cougars. Goes short, not his best kick, and Childs cuts it off. Goes wide and finds Hetherington. Goes down and finds Kai McGinty right in front of the interchange box. Umpire's seen he's just crossed the line, so relief there for the Cougars. And they'll take the relieving mark right in front of the interchange. Centre wing, 1 goal straight, the Hawks, to 1 behind the Cougars. 6 minutes into this first quarter. Set up nicely for Harry Taylor, but over the back. The mark has been taken by the Cougars. Wheels into the centre of the ground, looking for Blakers. He's got a couple of metres on Callum East. Tries to get around him. Gets a handball over towards Taylor. Just puts it onto his boot and pushed off his kick. And once again, Bailey takes the relieving mark. Goes over to Lloyd. Lloyd goes short, lands in front of Edgar. Push right up the ground now. Socket off the ground. Spills to Taylor. Tries to get the handball over to Marinoni. Taps it back out to Kyron Hayden. Hayden gets it over to O'Shea. He spent it before he had it. Comes towards Ben Taylor. Just chucks it onto his boot. Gleeson is there and he pushes it through for a minor score. So another behind to the Cougars. That 2 behinds. Deanmill, the home side, 1 goal straight, 6. So 4 points the margin. Near halfway through this opening quarter. Ball's brought back into play, looking for Legerini. Mason's there, goes for the mark once again. Couldn't take this one. Spills out to Blakers. Handball over to Marinoni. Could have been taken high. Umpire said you had prior. Relieving free kick is won by Mason. And most of his good work deep in defence goes short and finds East. Blake East for the Hawks. Didn't stand the mark there, Marinoni. It's a 50-metre penalty paid. And this will take the Hawks one kick from putting it deep inside forward 50. Stands the mark, goes short to Heverington. Has another player short in McGinty. And McGinty takes the mark right on 50. He goes short once again, looking for Tempera. And Tempera dives and takes a terrific chest mark. And he'll have a shot on goal from 40 metres out. Brock Tempera. And looking for Deanmill's second. So undisciplined play deep in defence. It's allowed Deanmill to push all the way down. And it lands in the arms of Brock Tempera. And he'll have a shot on goal. Terrific kick of the footy. In he comes now, Tempera. Not his best effort to put the mocker on him, but it's floated. It's carried the pack and gone all the way through. So Brock Tempera. It didn't spin like a drop punt, but you don't have to draw a picture. And he kicks the second one for the Hawks. Now 2 goals straight to Kojonup, 2 behinds. So not a big fan of the standing rule. I think it brings the opposition into play. And I'm sure that's what it was. Just outside defensive 50. Brought Blake East right up to centre wing. Allowed Heverington to get loose. And a couple of young players starting their league career in Heverington, McGinty, then over to Brock Tempera, resulting in a goal. Ball back in the middle. It's a veteran, Ashton. He wins it down in the ruck. Receives it back. Does Brad Ashton. Gets onto his left boot. Not his best kick. Lands in the arms of Taylor. Back to Ashton. He goes short and finds Blakers. And Mitch Blakers takes the mark in front of East. I'm not sure if he was looking for Blakers, but he's found him. And Blakers will go back to get the instant response. And kick from 20 metres out. Slight angle. Well, instrumental in their premiership a few years ago, Mitch Blakers. Only a youngster himself. Well, in he comes now. Mitch Blakers. Deliberate shot on goal. Umpire doesn't move. And Kojonup get their first goal of the match, courtesy of Mitch Blakers. To be honest, I haven't seen the umpire move much, and 2 of them have been behinds the goal umpire, but that one went straight over his hat. And Mitch Blakers makes no mistake from 20 metres out. So the move of Ashton into the ruck, the wily veteran, couple of handballs, and then gets on the end of the last handball just outside 50 and found Blakers and shot on goal from 20 metres, and Blakers made no mistake. Well, Ashton back in the ruck, up against Henry's, rucked all quarter so far. Ashton wins it down, just thumps it forward, but it spills out to East. Blake East, he gets a handball out to Legerini. It just won't sit up for him. He's got Kyron Hayden for company. Out to Edgar now. Handball over to Brock Tempera, the last goal kicker. Beautiful looking kick from Tempera. And he finds Jonty East 40 metres out. 3 or 4 metres on his opponent. And goal for goal at this stage. Player down in the middle. Looks like Kyron Hayden from here. It doesn't look that well, but Jonty East will go back 45 metres out. Directly in front. In he comes now. Deliberate shot on goal. Makes the goal umpire work. He's just pushed it across the face of goal and through for a minor score. They might have to hold play up here. The player down in the middle of the ground for Kojonup. I'm sure it's Kyron Hayden. He was the last one in that contest when it come out to Legerini. He doesn't look that well, and I can ill afford to lose him. He's an outstanding player. And beautiful by foot is Kyron Hayden. So play will be held up here for a little while. Unsure of what happened there. Just watching the play as Tempera hit. It is Kyron Hayden. Very, very ginger is Kyron Hayden. And looks like he's going to go straight off, so he'll take no further part in the game. It's disappointing for footy in general, and they need to cover him, the Cougars. They've been outstanding in the opening 10 or 12 minutes of this first quarter. So Kyron Hayden is making his way off the ground, assisted by a couple of trainers for the Cougars. So they'll have to regroup here. Had a few opportunities up forward, let a couple slip from directly in front. But Kyron Hayden, he'll take no further part in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how they cover for him in the middle of the ground. They've probably got the firepower up forward, the Cougars. It might be time to maybe swing Luciv into the middle and just free him up a little bit as Marinoni plays on straight away. And he's going to find the coach in Abbott. Plays on now, does Abbott. He's a terrific player, goes short. And Harry Taylor takes the mark right in front of the commentary box. Not his best kick, but Harry Walter takes the mark. Being told to play on now. Strong closes. Now he's got to go long. Has the big frame of Ashton. Ashton, one grab, two grab. Takes the mark. Made that look a little bit harder than it was. Goes short and finds Luciv right on 50. Has Bellotti running past. Probably too far out to score. Goes short and finds the ample frame of Charlie Walton. Now, Walton took a terrific mark on the far side of the ground. I couldn't see who it was, but I've watched him. He knows where the goals are, does Walton. Kicked big bags in the reserve, so it's good to see him come up into the league. He's going to kick from 48 metres out, is Walton. We're right behind this one. In he comes now. It's on target, the big fella. No dramas with the distance there is Walton. And he gets his first for the game. And Kojonup second. And all of a sudden, it's goal for goal. Terrific kick in from Marinoni to find Abbott unattended. Goal to come back into the middle of the ground. Make it look a little bit difficult. Lands in the arms elusive, courtesy of Ashton, who's been instrumental in the opening two goals for the Cougars since he's come into the ruck. Elusive finds Walton, and he made no mistake from 48 metres out. So ball back in the middle of the ground. Henry's changed out. Jonty East moves into the ruck, opposed by Ashton. Ashton wins it down, goes to Smith, been prominent early. Spills out, comes out to East. He gets a handball out to Lloyd. Puts it in front of Jared Edgar for the Hawks. He's got Marinoni. Lloyd follows up, keeps the ball in play, wheels onto his left boot. Demetrio's there. Over the top comes Angus Johnson and affects the spoil. The ball will be thrown in 20 metres out from Deanmill's goal. A terrific spoil by Johnson. He's done a couple of them in the early stages of this first quarter. Under pressure there as Kojonup, after that goal from Walton, take a 1 point lead. So closing stages of the first quarter, ball to be thrown in 20 metres out from Deanmill's goal. Entertaining first quarter of footy. Ball's thrown in. Strawn this time does the ruck work. Tries to win it down to Edgar. Edgar tackled. Gives away the free kick. And will go the way of Tonkin, the defender. Has a player short, and Marinoni goes past him and finds Smith, who's had an outstanding first quarter of footy. Now he goes and finds Marinoni. Still inside defensive 50, goes wide and finds that man Johnson. So just maintaining possession at the moment. Has O'Shea short, has Smith in the middle of the ground, goes towards him and finds him. Now they run for him. Smith wheels around Mason on the mark, goes short. They're still inside defensive 50, but maintaining possession. That was Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor goes wide and finds Tonkin, who started this play. Been called to play on now, Tonkin. Asked to go long, does so. Looking for Smith. Goes early, tries to get over the back. Comes to Mason. Mason could have played on. Free kick goes the way of Blake East for Deanmill. Runs around the man on the mark. Goes long, not his best looking kick, and lands in the arm of Tonkin once again. Has Marinoni short, that's Matthew. Been a bit quiet in the first quarter, Matthew Marinoni. He'll get the handball back to Taylor. Now they're away, runs past centre half back, doesn't know what to do, gets a handball over to O'Shea, back to Taylor. Taylor then goes to Blakers, who's pushed up the ground. Blakers wheels around, looks for the frame of Luciv, and Luciv takes the mark. has Weasel on his own, goes that way. Weasel's made a great lead and finds him uncontested, and Jermaine Weasel will have a shot on goal, 35 metres out, 45-degree angle, very similar to the position he had earlier on in this quarter. And let's see if he's learnt by those mistakes. Jermaine Weasel, in he comes now. It's a better looking kick. Does it hold its line? It's trying. It does. And they extend that lead. The Cougars now out to 7 points in the late stages of this first quarter. And Luciv working his way up the ground, becoming that target across half forward, has set up two really good shots on goal. One to Walton, who made no mistake from 48 metres out. And that one to Weasel, a little bit closer, same angle. Just found a lot of space there, did Weasel, and made no mistake from 35 metres out. So the Cougars now just starting to work their way into the game. Ball back in the middle. It's Hayden. Elijah wins the ball down towards Smith. Great gather there by Smith, but it spills out towards Lloyd. Gets a handball over to Smith. In comes Kyle Smith. Makes the spoil, and it goes out right in front of the commentary box. So Josiah Smith took the kick, but Kyle Smith dived, spoilt the ball. And Elijah Hayden, well, the closer he gets, the bigger he's getting. Wins it down towards Kyle Smith. Gets a handball out to Matthew Marinoni. Back to Smith. He's been terrific in this first quarter. Wheels around. Cradle there by Blake East. Goes down the line. Not sure if it was meant for Luciv, but it finds him. Weasel once again running into open space. Goes longer, looking for Blakers. Carries him over to Bailey. Could have been taken without it. And Tonkin gave away the free kick, and Bailey receives the free kick, goes wide and finds Henry. Jacob Henry has East leading short. Player in the middle of the ground. Decides to go that way. Risky kick. Looking there for Childs. Keeps his feet. There's not much of him, but it spills over to Weasel. Gets around one. Palms off Childs with ease. Goes long. Looking for Walton. Bailey misses the mark he should have taken, but butters up on the second effort. Over the top comes Smith. Could have given away the free kick to East. Umpire sees it that way. Blake East takes a relieving free kick. Has a player in the middle of the ground. That's Joshua Reeve. Has space. Goes wide and finds Childs. He has plenty of space as well. What can he do from here? Goes down the line and finds Edgar. Edgar needs to play on at all costs. They have the loose man as they go down the far side of the ground. Goes long. Looking there for Demetrio. In front of him, it spills to Mason. Could have not had the ball. Umpire lets the ball play on. In comes Johnson and Strawn. Wrapped up 30 metres out from Deanmill's goal. Ball to be thrown up. Late stage of this first quarter. Kojonup by 7 points. Mason this time does the ruck work. Spills out to the big fella in Hayden. Gets it back after a spoil. Then he's wrapped up. Umpire lets the play go on. Spills over to Heverington. Comes down. Demetrio gets Johnson out of the way. Soccer off the ground. Through for a minor score. So they're making hard work of it down there, the Deanmill forward line, but credit to the Kojonup defence. They've made them have some really tough shots. From the pocket, ball's brought back into play by Abbott, and he finds Smith. Has Bellotti short. Marinoni if he wants him. Still got Bellotti. Now he's going to have to go long. Does so. Right in front of the commentary box. Gleeson in best position. Luciv makes the spoil. Legerini shepherds and allows East to wheel onto his left boot. That's a beautiful looking kick. And he finds Mason. Mason plays on now. Goes to the top of the goal. Has Demetrio all on his own. And Demetrio takes the mark. We'll have a shot on goal. Tight angle right on the boundary line. Only 15 metres out. Just managed to get players behind the ball. 23 and a half minutes gone in this first quarter. 6 points the margin, the way of the Cougars. Demetrio knows where the goals are. Tough angle, comes in. Through for a minor score. So 5 points the margin. Deanmill working hard. Kojonup, later part of this first quarter, making the most of their opportunities. as Abbott bring the ball back in once again. Has player short. Now he's been told to go long. Decides to change, goes wide and finds Ben Taylor. Taylor looking for Harry Taylor, puts him under pressure. Over the top comes Reeve, makes the spoil, lands in front towards Kyle Smith. Snapped around the body and Bellotti takes the mark in front of Bailey. From centre wing, 25 minutes gone. He goes short and finds Harry Taylor. So the power forward, he's inside the back half, decides to go in the middle of the ground, looking for Kyle Smith. Goes over his head, spills towards Pethick. Pethick runs onto the ball, but he's wrapped up there by Heverington. Umpire will come in. Terrific tackle by the youngster. Throw the ball up. Still 2 kicks out from Kojonup's goal. The big fella Hayden puts his ample frame in front of Henry, wins the ball down, but it spills out towards Lloyd, the new recruit. It comes back towards Cooper Racing, just chucks it onto his boot, and in front McGinty takes the mark. Has a player in the middle of the ground. That's Leggerini. Look for him, but in front, the kick didn't hit its target, and Bellotti takes the mark. He goes short and finds Kyle Smith, being called to play on now. Been terrific in this first quarter as Smith goes into the middle of the ground and finds O'Shea. Goes wide and finds Blakers, who had a bit of room on Brock Tempera. Has players leading for him, and that is Liam Want, and he takes the mark. Still too far out to score. Want for the Cougars. Now he's been called to play on. Runs himself into a bit of trouble. Gets around one. Doesn't get around Bailey, but the handball fortuitous. He lands in front of O'Shea. The tackle's made by Racing, and he wins the free kick. It goes wide and finds Demetrio. Centre wing, far side of the ground. 26 minutes gone in this first quarter. Can't be much time left. Goes long and Leggerini. That's a terrific kick by Demetrio and finds Martin Leggerini. Looking there for Strawn. Bounces in front of Strawn. Keeps the ball in. Spills back. In comes McGinty with the tackle, and he'll be rewarded with that tackle. Takes a free kick. Being told to play on. Should shoot on goal. The youngster does so. But across comes Taylor for the Cougars and spoils the ball over the line. Margin now 4 points. Taylor brings the ball back in. It's got some height on it, looking for Marinoni. Over the top comes Lloyd. Spills out to Edgar. Then to Galter. Goes up the middle of the ground, looking for Kyle Smith. He's in best position. Spills over to Racing on the second grab. Just chucks it onto his left boot and finds a skipper in East. And he'll have a shot on goal. 25 metres out, directly in front, to put the Hawks back in front. A risky kick coming in the middle of the ground. Kyle Smith surrounded by 3 Deanmill opponents. Spills out to Mason. He just chucks it onto his left boot and finds Blake East. In he comes now. He makes no mistake. And Blake East gets on the scoreboard and puts the Hawks back in front by 2 points. So 22 plays 20. 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. So a long quarter considering how many goals have been kicked. We did have a bit of a stoppage when Kyron Hayden got injured in the middle of the ground. Still not sure what happened there, but he'll take no further part in the game. Then the Hawks, courtesy of their skipper, get back in front. Ball back in the middle of the ground. Up goes the big fella in Hayden. Beautiful ruck knock to Matthew Marinoni. He goes wide looking for Want. Could have given away the free kick and does so right in front of the umpire. And Josiah Smith takes the free kick. He goes wide and finds the youngster in Riley Heverington. Comes in towards the middle, finds Blake East, plays on straight away, has a bounce right in front of the box. Not his best kick. Terrific spoil by Tonkin in front of Abbott. Wins the free kick over to O'Shea, just drives the ball long. Gleeson makes the spoil. Terrific spoil in front of Kyle Smith. Probably Kojonup's best, if not best on ground so far in this opening 30 minutes. Ball to be thrown in centre wing. 1 minute to go. Henry v Elijah Hayden. Hayden gets in front, wins the ball down, comes over to Heverington, handball out towards East, back to Heverington, wheels onto his left boot, looking for Rayson. Tonkin could have nearly been paid the mark. In comes O'Shea. Tonkin waits out for it, spills to Bellotti. He's well tackled, back to O'Shea, and then over to Angus Johnson. Ball's still in dispute. Now the umpire said you've had too much prior opportunity, and the free kick will go the way of Lloyd for the Hawks. Rhett Lloyd. Left footer, just holding the play up. Now he's going to put it inside 50, looking for Strawn. He's got 3 players on him. One of them's Ashton. Spills out the back to Jermaine Weasel. Just chucks it onto his boot. Will it carry to Want? I don't know if he wanted the footy then. Went straight past it. Past Lloyd. Ball goes out of bounds and be thrown in once again. Centre wing. 2 points the margin. The big frame of Hayden gets in front again. Henry tries to come over the top. Hayden takes clean possession. Just chucks it into open space. Asking a fair bit there of Walton. He's outnumbered. Quarter time. 2 points the margin. The way of the Hawks. 3 goals for Deanmill. 3 goals to, courtesy of a goal. The minute to go to Blake East. He's got 1. Edgar's got 1 and Brock Tempera. And for the Cougars, Blakers, Walton and Weasel have 1 apiece. So a terrific opening quarter of footy, and we'll be back shortly with the second quarter here at Deanmill Footy Oval. Right, players just getting into position. Outstanding first quarter of footy. Two top teams just feeling each other out. Deanmill take a 2-point lead into the second quarter. A lot of highlights in that first quarter, but I suppose the only low light from a football sense, and more importantly Kojonup, is the injury to Kyron Hayden, who'll take no further part in this game. So 3 goals for, 3 goals 2. Umpire holds the ball aloft, and we're away in the second quarter. Hayden wins it down straight to Marinoni, and they're away again. The Cougars out of the middle of the ground. Blake is in best position, but in front, Weasel stands his ground and takes a terrific mark. Goes long, looking there for Mitch Blakers. Spills over the back. In they come now. East working hard. Keeps the ball in play, but it goes through for a minor score. Margin now 1 point. East plays on straight away, goes short and finds Josiah Smith for the Hawks. Has East running past, decides to go longer. Over the top comes Tempera. Smith's there, Kyle Smith. Tempera's wrapped up by O'Shea. Said he had Pryor. Also Pethick in there, and Pethick wins the free kick right on centre wing. Being called to play on now. He'll get the handball back to Smith. Smith is going to go backwards, and he'll find Tonkin. Tonkin has Pethick short. All leads closed up now. He'll have to go long. Called to play on. Kicks the ball high. Looking there for Want. Could have been held without it. In comes O'Shea, and Smith spills out to young Heverington. He goes in the middle of the ground and finds Jonty East. East goes short, straight down the middle, and finds Strawn. Demetrio runs on in an open pocket and takes an uncontested chest mark in front of Johnson for the Cougars. And he'll have the opening shot of the second quarter. 35 metres out, nearly directly in front. Ethan Demetrio. A lot easier shot than the one he had late in that first quarter. But he knows where the goals are, Demetrio. Looking to get on the scoreboard himself. In he comes now. Deliberate shot on goal. Umpire doesn't move. He puts it straight through the middle, does Demetrio. And the Cougars extend that margin by a goal, courtesy of the youngster Demetrio. Terrific effort in the middle of the ground by Heverington. Found East. East found Strawn, who's working well up the ground for the big power forward. And then Demetrio ran into open space, took the chest mark and made no mistake from 35 metres out. So a great start here to the home side, the Hawks. And their youngsters are really stepping up. Heverington getting a lot of the footy. Tempera, Brock, Demetrio as well. Ball back in the middle of the ground. This time it's one down by Henry. Socket off the ground by Marinoni to Smith. Smith goes short and Taylor's found some space. Harry Taylor in front of Bailey. And he'll have his first look on goal. Has Marinoni running into space. No one covers him. Henry wakes up but too late. Decides to go short to Taylor. And Matthew Marinoni will kick from 45 metres out directly in front. So loose checking by the Deanmill centre line. Not sure if that was Henry's man. He's the ruckman. No one followed Marinoni down. And Matthew Marinoni, the name synonymous with the Kojonup Cougars. In he comes now directly in front, 45 metres out. It's a great looking kick at goal from Marinoni. Goal for goal early stages of this second quarter. And Matthew Marinoni gets one back for the Cougars. And that margin now back to 1 point. Be disappointed with that, Coach Rawson, for the Hawks. Matthew Marinoni ran from the middle of the ground and found himself in space. Henry just could not get there. Took an uncontested chest mark and then put it through from 45 metres out directly in front. Ball back in the middle. Up they go again. This time the big fella Hayden gets up, wins it down towards O'Shea. Tries to knock the ball forward. Will it bounce up for him? In comes Luciv. Makes a terrific spoil on East. Spills over towards Charles. Blakers is there. Gets the ball back to Luciv. What can he do? Handballs over to Blakers. Blakers wheels around. Tries to be cute and goes short, but it spills over to Tempera. Back to Childs. puts his head over the ball, could have been taken high. Umpire sees it that way. And Cooper Childs takes a relieving mark, the relieving free kick just inside defensive 50. There's a player injured on the far side of the ground. I think it might be East after that heavy knock from Luciv. A fair shepherd as my niece walks past in Jordan with her daughter Polly. Hey, how cute. A little bit going on here. There's nothing in that. Luciv, that was just a real effective shepherd by Luciv. And East is still down on the far side of the ground. Players dispersed now, just waiting to see. Back in our day, John, we'd run that off. The game's changed a fair bit. He's a tough nut, Blake East. He'll come up through the interchange bench. That'll allow him just to regroup, regain his senses and see if he can come back on. Replaced by Joshua Reeve. So Childs received the free kick, goes down the middle of the ground and finds Demetrio. They're working hard the forward line. Demetrio goes wide, asking a fair bit of McGinty. Took his eye off the ball. Now he's got Harry Galter there for company. Galter comes in, so does McGinty. Now the umpire comes in, will throw the ball up. 2 kicks out from Deanmill's goal. Just took his eye off the ball. Henry tries to come over the top, goes to Kyle Smith. He runs into the arms of Henry, had Pryor, and Jacob Henry wins the free kick for the Hawks. Been good today, Henry. He's up against a big opponent. He's doing really well. Drives the ball long, looking for Strawn. Over the top, come Abbott. Spills out the back towards Demetrio. Could have been taken without it. And the umpire sees it that way. Little lucky there. Ashton did nothing wrong. But Ethan Demetrio, tighter angle than his last shot. About the same distance, 35, 40 metres out. And this to push that margin out to 7 points. Ethan Demetrio. In he comes now. Beautiful shot on goal. The youngster. Is the umpire. It's hard to tell, but it just pushes across the face of goal and through for a minor score. Ball brought back into play straight away. They find Luciv. That was Abbott. Luciv goes wide. Finds Tonkin. He spent it before he got it. Weasel tries to come in. Tonkin could have been taken without it. It spills out the back to Ryan Tempera. And Strawn takes the mark above his head. He'll have a shot on goal from 52 metres out. A slight angle. So the big power forward for the Hawks. Kicked 80 goals last year. In he comes now. This is going to take his best. We're right behind this one. Wilds around. He's got a fair piece of it. It's trying to work its way back. Distance, no problem. But it's just gone through for a minor score.
3 points.
3 points the margin the way of the Hawks. Abbott will bring the ball back in. Plays on. Runs out. Gets the handball over towards Pethick. He goes short to find O'Shea. Too short. Giving away the free kick. And it'll go the way of Bellotti. Just outside defensive 50. Ryan Bellotti has players short. Now he has to go long. Looking for the big fella in Hayden. But the opposing ruckman in Henry takes a nice overhead mark. He goes wide and finds Reeve. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Good to see him back. Goes in the middle of the ground looking for Demetrio. Oh, nearly on the second grab. Spills out the back. That was nearly a terrific mark. He comes back to Kyle Smith. Tries to get the ball out to Ashton. Spills to Pethick. It's a hot number in there. Legerini, handball over towards Rhett Lloyd. Weasel comes through. Been good in this game. Just chucks it onto his boot. Gleeson in best position. And that's a terrific overhead mark. Running back with a fly to play. Nicholas Gleeson goes short, looking for Lloyd. Asks a fair bit of him. Wilds around though. Bounces up. Gets onto his left boot. Looking there for Legerini. And Legerini takes the mark on the second grab. Has Jonty East short, goes that way, goes over his head. Ashton in best position, gets drawn out of the way with ease. Tries to be cute with a kick to Pethick. Bounces up for him now. Handball back to Tonkin. Misses his target. They have the numbers here, the Cougars. Tonkin goes down the line looking for Harry Taylor. And Taylor takes the mark in front of his opponent in Bailey. As Blakers leading short, goes that way now. And Blakers takes the mark. Covering all bases here, the Hawks. They have the players back now. Blakers has been told to play on. Has to kick over East. Looking there for Hayden. Henry in front. Over the front, it comes towards Marinoni. Cute little kick, and he finds Kyle Smith. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Has Walton leading short. Should have used him. Has Luciv leading into the pocket. Goes wider than that. That's a terrific kick from Smith. And he found Taylor. It's Ben Taylor's taken the mark. And he'll have a shot on goal. 45 metres out directly in front. It's Ben Taylor. Weighing up all options there was Kyle Smith. He's kicked that 50 metres across the field. He's found Ben Taylor uncontested. So in comes Taylor. Deliberate shot on goal. Not his best kick. It goes wide. And it lands in the arms of Cooper Childs for the Hawks. Should have done better there, Taylor. Childs plays on now. Weasel on the mark. Goes on the far side of the ground. And Edgar, 1 grab, 2 grab. Couldn't get it in on the 3rd. Picks the ball up. Handball back towards McGinty. Goes in the middle of the ground. Looking there for Reeve. But Harry Taylor comes in front and takes the mark. Harry Taylor. That's a better looking kick. Weasel works his way into the front position. The big frame of Walton's there. Taps the ball back. But all he's done is find Ryan Tempera. Handballs over to Callum East. Just chucks it onto his boot. But it's gone out of bounds. And this time Ben Taylor will take the relieving free kick. He goes short and finds Matthew Marinoni. 45 metres out from goal. This will take his best. Matt Marinoni. There's a better kick there by Ben Taylor. I'm not sure of his relation to Harry. But Harry's a better shot on goal. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, Ben Taylor. He's been good today. He set up Matthew Marinoni. This is going to take his best. He'll kick from 48. Runs around the man on the mark. It's going to land at the top of the goal square. Best position is Tempera, Ryan. And he takes the overhead mark right on the goal line in front of Weasel. So Ryan Tempera goes short. Finds Childs. Still deep inside defensive 50, the Hawks. Cooper Childs. Plays on now. Goes wide. Looking there for Brock Tempera. Had to affect the spoil. Comes towards Lloyd. But he's wrapped up by Harry Golter. Umpire will come in. Throw the ball up. 60 metres out from Kojonup's goal. And 3 points the margin. Clean possession of Jonty East. Just chucks it onto his boot. But all he's done is found Clancy Tonkin in the middle of the ground. He decides to switch play. Finds the coach in Abbott. Abbott has time to have a bounce. Weigh up all options. Looks for the big fella in Walton. Goes over his head. But he picks it up. The left footer. Wills inside. Has a player short. O'Shea tries to take the one-hander. Bounces up to him. Snap on goal. It's not going to carry. And Gleeson takes the relieving mark deep in defence. He'll go wide and long. Has a player there in McGinty. And this time he takes the overhead mark in front of Johnson. Plays on straight away. Not his best kick. And it's turned over in the middle of the ground. They come in board. They find O'Shea. He has Abbott. Has another player in Smith who's been terrific in this game. Gives it back to O'Shea. O'Shea goes short. And once again finds Marinoni. Directly in front. Has a player Blakers. And Blakers takes the mark. Probably 5 metres closer to goal. He'll kick 40 metres out. Nearly directly in front. And this to put the Cougars back in front. So they've had all the play, the Cougars, early stages of this second quarter, just to see if they can put some pressure on the scoreboard. In he comes now, Mitch Blakers. That's a good-looking kick from Blakers. It's held its line, and it's gone through. And Blakers gets his second for the game. And the Cougars hit the front by 3 points. So loose checking again. Marinoni wasn't confident with the distance. Blakers ran into some open space. Marinoni obliged with that lead. And Blakers made no mistake from 40 metres out, directly in front. I really need to tighten up on Kyle Smith. Playing absolute blinder of a game so far. Quarter and a half in. We're 14 minutes in to this second quarter. Ashton now in the ruck opposed to East. Jonty East wins the ball down towards Lloyd. It spills to Elusive. Back to Ashton. He goes short, looking for the last goal kicker in Blakers. And Blakers takes the mark in front of Ryan Tempera. Has a player wide. Decides to go down, looking for Walton. But East out-muscles him. A couple of big fellas there, and Callum East and Charlie Walton. And Callum East takes a relieving mark. Has Gleeson short and uses him. Gleeson has Cooper Childs. Finds him, plays on straight away, far side of the ground. He goes short and finds Jonty East right in front of the interchange box for Deanmill. Comes in board and finds Demetrio. Only goal for the Hawks so far this quarter. Demetrio now goes short, just maintaining. Well, Blake East is back on the ground, so he must have only just been winded. Wheels onto his left boot, goes long, looking for Henry. A good spoil there by Want. Henry keeps it in, comes back to Want. In they come now. Ball will be tied up. Umpire will come in, throw the ball up. 2 kicks out from Deanmill's goal. 3 points the margin in favour of the Cougars so far. A goal apiece in this second quarter. 1 to Demetrio for the Hawks. 2 goals to Kojonup actually. 1 to Marinoni, Matthew, and 1 to Mitch Blakers to put him back in front. Ashton wins the free kick. Goes down the middle of the ground looking for Weasel. Drops what he should have taken. Spills out the back towards Ryan Tempera. Gets around Matthew Marinoni. Over to Nick Gleeson. Just chucks it onto his boot. Ashton in best position. That's a terrific mark. Running back with the fly to play. He has Smith in the middle of the ground. He'll go shorter and wider. Looking for Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor wheels around one. Has to go backwards now to Bellotti. Now he's under pressure. How will the ball set up? Tries to get around Edgar. Does so. Spills out. They have the numbers here. 1 is O'Shea. 1 is Pethick. In comes Reeve. In comes O'Shea and wraps him up. That's probably a win for the Hawks. Kojonup were out. Just didn't hit their targets. And ball 60 metres out from Deanmill's goal. Ashton wins it down. Tries to get it to Elusive. Spills back to Ashton. Over to Pethick. Just chucks it onto his boot. Taylor in best position. Bounces up nicely for him. Tries to get around Bailey. The ball's spilled out. And a free kick goes away to Bailey for the Hawks. We agree with Taylor on that one. Bailey under pressure, drives the ball forward. Want in good position, uses his frame, gets a handball over in the direction of Kyle Smith. Been terrific. He's wrapped up by Lloyd, wrapped up over the boundary line, and the ball will be thrown in. 2 kicks out from Deanmill's goal. 4 goals 6 to 5 goals 3. 17.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. Spills down to O'Shea. Not the best looking kick. Marinoni in front. Free kick could have been given away by Gleeson. Umpire sees it that way. And Matt Marinoni will take the relieving free kick. Blake is all on his own. He can get it and go here. He does so. Being told to play on. Childs comes in. Looks there for Walton. Walton gets in front. But a terrific spoil by Callum East. His opponent knocks the ball over the boundary line. Ball to be thrown in. 35 metres out from Kojonup's goal. A little bit of loose checking as Kojonup bring the ball forward. They need to man up. Marinoni does the ruck work. Never seen him ruck in my life. Gets the ball out to Kyle Smith. Gets around Bailey. Handball back towards Blakers. Blakers goes around one. Has Pethick running past. Decides to kick now and finds Matthew Marinoni. Plays on straight away. Not his best looking kick. And the ball goes out of bounds. On the full, Callum East to take the relieving free kick for the Hawks. deep in defence. And 3 points still the margin. Decides to go across goal. Looking there for me. Legerini takes his eye off the ball. Now he's let Kojonup in. Galt is there. So is Luciv. So is Bellotti. In they come now. The ball spills out to Legerini. Soccer off the ground. Lands in the hands of Josiah Smith. He goes short and finds Cooper Racing. Drives the ball long. Looking there for East, who's moved forward. He's got Tonkin for company. Gets onto his left boot. Now they have the numbers as Strawn runs back into the square. How will it sit? He should use him. Goes looking for Strawn. And Strawn takes the mark 20 metres out from goal. And he'll have a shot on goal. Distance, no problem at all after his last effort. This to put the Hawks back in front by 3 points. Well done there by Josiah Smith, the young Cooper Racing. Found Demetrio in plenty of space. The ball set up for him. And Strawn ran back to the goal square and takes an uncontested mark. In he comes now, the power forward for the Hawks. Straight through the middle does go Jordan Strawn. And he puts the Hawks back in front by 3 points. So terrific effort by the Hawks, end-to-end stuff. And Strawn gets on the board with his first for the game. 2 goals apiece in this second quarter. Demetrio got one for himself and then set up that one to Strawn. And Blake is Matt Marinoni for the Cougars. And if just ease off your direct opponent, each team is getting plenty of time to assess the best option. And they've done so, both sides. The ball back in the middle of the ground. Elijah Hayden goes up. This time Henry wins it down, but it spills out the back towards Marinoni. Luciv gets the handball over to Marinoni. He handballs out to his teammate, goes deep, looking for Jamie Marinoni. Could have been taken high. Handball over to Harry Taylor. Tries to be cute, finds Blakers. Blakers will run into an open goal. Instant response. It's hit the post. So a let off there for the Hawks. A little bit of controversy here. Central umpire will have a chat to the goal umpire. Overruled. Goal to Blakers. And Blakers hits the scoreboard for the third time, second time in this quarter. And the margin swings back in Kojonup's favour, and they're up by 3 points. So Blakers is finding plenty of space, especially inside the forward 50. He's a quality player, is Blakers. And even as we speak, he has no one on him. Kicks his third of the game. 1 in the first quarter, 2 in the second quarter. Margin 3 points in favour of the visitors. Ball back in the middle of the ground. 22 minutes gone in this second quarter. Hayden wins it down once again. Umpire's seen a free kick in the middle, and it'll go the way of Matthew Marinoni. Worked his way nicely into the game in this second quarter. Goes wide, looking for Harry Taylor. He has metres on his direct opponent in Bailey. Takes the mark. He'll go in board looking for Smith. And on the second grab, Kyle Smith takes the mark in front of Childs. And this, for the biggest margin of the game, Kyle Smith, outstanding in this first half of footy. He'll have a shot on goal. 45 metres out. Slight angle. Been terrific as Kyle Smith. In he comes now. We've got a good look at this one from our commentary position. Kyle Smith crosses 50, 45 out. Just a beautiful looking kick from Smith. And that goes straight through the middle. And Smith gets his name on the scoreboard. The cap off an outstanding first half of footy individually to Kyle Smith. So 4 goals to 2 in favour of the Cougars. And this margin out to 9 points. So I didn't see what the free kick was for in the middle. I was looking downfield as the ball come in front of the commentary position, but Matthew Marinoni, pretty quiet in that first quarter from his lofty standards. has really got his side going out of the middle of the ground in this second quarter. He finds Harry Taylor on to Smith, and Smith made no mistake from 45 metres out. Up the ruckman go again. One down by Hayden. Spills out to O'Shea. He's been good too. Drives the ball long. Jamie Marinoni in front. Over the top of him come Gleeson and affects the spoil, but it lands in front of Weasel. He's seen a gap there that no one else did. Wrapped up there by Childs. Childs plays on straight away. Goes down the far side of the ground looking for Mason. Mason couldn't take the mark this time. And comes back towards Hetherington. Over to Childs. Wields around one, then the other. Finds a bit of space. Goes short and finds Strawn. Still too far out to score. Has a player in Brock Temper out wide. Has time to take the mark and then play on straight away. And he'll find Demetrio. And end-to-end stuff by the Hawks. We'll see Ethan Demetrio, have a shot on goal. Tough angle right on the boundary line. Not the right side for a right footer. And let's see what Demetrio can do here. Had a part to play in both goals for his side so far in the second quarter. Goes a banana, doesn't get all of it. Could land in the way of East. Misses the mark. Spills out towards Ben Taylor. Has time to pick it up. Then he's wrapped up by Blake East. Umpire will come in, throw the ball up. 40 metres out from Deanmill's goal. Nearly the best banana kick pass you've ever seen to Mason. Comes down towards Lloyd. He's wrapped up by Abbott. Spills over to Taylor. Just chucks it onto his boot. Mitch Blakers has got 3 to beat. One of them's Henry. Spills over the back to Legerini. Tried to claim the mark off 3 hands, I think, Legerini. Umpire seen through that one, and he'll come in, throw the ball up. Just outside forward 50 for the Hawks. Henry up against Hayden. Hayden's been terrific. Wins the ball backwards towards Hetherington. He's wrapped up straight away by O'Shea. He's been terrific in this first half for the Cougars. This time Henry gets a run and jump. Spills out towards Lloyd. Over towards Legerini. Just chucks the ball onto his boot. Over the top come Mason. Goes out towards East. Wrapped up straight away. Comes to Ashton. Tries to fend off Edgar. He could be in trouble. He is. Jared Edgar hung on to Ashton as he tried to fend him off. And he's rewarded with a terrific tackle, Jared Edgar. He'll have a shot on goal to reduce that margin back to 3 points. And this will take his best, Jared Edgar. 40 metres out. Acute angle. You've got to kick over with the big fella Ashton on the mark. Be licking his wounds, Brad Ashton. In he comes now, Jared Edgar. Been called to play on. Deliberate shot on goal. Has it gone through? It has. It looked a little bit narrow from here. Just had enough on it to go through the middle. And Jared Edgar gets his second of the game. Terrific kick from 40 metres out. Margin back to 3 points in favour of the Cougars. We've got 1 minute to go in this second quarter. A terrific half of footy. Terrific effort by Edgar. As Ashton tried to brush past him, Edgar hung on. Rewarded with the free kick. Made no mistake from 40 metres. And he gets his second of the game. 4 goals to 3 in this second quarter. Ball back in the middle. Up they go. One down by Hayden, but it favours Brock Tempera. Gets a handball back to Jacob Henry. Just chucks it onto his boot. East on the second grab. Couldn't get it as the siren goes. And what a terrific half of footy. 6 goals, 6 the home side. 7 goals, 3 the Cougars. 3 points the margin. As we go into half time, a couple of late goals to the Hawks. The margin slipped out to 9 points. Blake is with 3. Walton with 1. Weasel with 1. Matt Marinoni and Smith, Kyle Smith, 1 apiece. He's had a terrific first half of footy. And for the Hawks, Jared Eggers got 2. A terrific effort. The last goal of that first half from the boundary. Brock Tempera 1. Blake East 1. Demetrio and Strawn 1 apiece. So 3 points to margin. Terrific first half of footy. And we'll be back shortly with the second half from the lovely, picturesque Deanmill Football Oval. So players back on the ground, ready for this second half. 6 goals 6, the home side. 7 goals 3, Kojonup. 3 points the margin. 3 goals to the Hawks in that second quarter. And 4 goals to the visitors. So a little bit of loose checking, especially from Deanmill's on-ballers. And as they move into defence, seem to have the numbers running through. Just allowing Kojonup to have some good shots on goal, but they fought back well. Nearly a mark at the end of that second half to East that would have given the home side a chance to put themselves back in the front. But 3 points to margin. 2 sides that are going to feature prominently as the year goes on. And before this second half starts, let's just thank some people and businesses that make this happen. Great Southern Fuels, Agfree, that's a mark of the year. Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation Group, goal of the year. UTF Trailers, Corrigan Hotel, Wild Gravel, Alum Lube, Darfish, Archie's, Omnibus, Classic Clashes, and Gallagher. And today's clash is the Manjimup Tyrepower game of the round. So just about ready, underway here. The best player in my eyes so far in that first half has been Kyle Smith. He's been absolutely outstanding and finished off with a goal late in that second quarter. So umpire throws it up they go again. Hayden gets up, wins it down to that man Smith. He's wrapped up straight away by Rhett Lloyd. Ball to be thrown up once again. Hayden gets himself in front. Elijah Hayden spills over to Reeve, just chucks it onto his left boot. It's going to favour Elusive. The late hit on him by Smith, and the Hawks win the free kick. Still inside the centre square. It'll go the way of Riley Hetherington. He goes wide looking for Demetrio, but cutting in front of him is Angus Johnson. Has O'Shea, gets a handball to him. Lachlan O'Shea, terrific in that first half. Goes wide on the far side of the ground looking for Blakers. But Bailey takes a terrific overhead mark in front of Taylor and Blakers. Goes short and finds Tempera. Had Reeve, Brock Tempera, kicked a goal in that first half. Has Callum East. Now has to be told to play on. Up and under kick. Could favour Henry. Allows Hetherington to come in, but it spills over the back to O'Shea. Chucks it onto his right boot. But all he's done is pick out Nicholas Gleeson. Just inside defensive 50. Goes short and finds Tempera. Once again had Reeve in the middle of the ground. Goes past him. Looking there for Hetherington. Carries him in front of Bellotti. In comes Pethick for help. Picks the ball up. Beautiful bounce. Goes wide. Big fella Hayden carries over his head into the arms of Henry. Handball over to Mason. Back to Edgar. Tries to go back to Mason. Gets a handball out towards Rhett Lloyd. He'll wield onto his left boot. Gets an up and under. Had to get over Hayden. Looking for Strawn. He had 3 to beat. Spills out the back to Tonkin. Just puts the ball high up and under. Pethick should have done better. Ran completely under the ball, uncontested. Spills out the back to Henry. Wouldn't sit up for him. Took his time. Put Bailey under pressure. Spills to Lloyd. Handball back to Brock Tempera. Back to Lloyd. Whistle's gone. Out of bounds. Umpire will throw the ball in. He might have overruled his mate on the boundary line there. Anyway, he was in the best position. Far side of the ground. Ball thrown in. This time Hayden gets back position but wins it over there towards Elusive. Comes towards Hetherington. Could have been taken without the ball. Ball still in dispute. In comes Charles. Umpire letting the ball play on. Comes to Henry. Over back to Lloyd. Fames a handball. Gets it over towards Childs. Misses his target. Ball to be thrown in. Centre wing, far side of the ground. Still getting used to this lasso rule. There's a free kick's been paid and it'll go the way of the big ruckman for the Cougars and Elijah Hayden. Been terrific today in the ruck. He's a big man, been called to play on, goes short and finds Taylor of the Harry variety. He comes inboard and finds Pethick, who's got space. Good looking kick in front of Want. Couldn't take the mark. Spills back to Ben Taylor. Looking there for Smith. Could have been taken high. Should play on. Will do. Play on advantage. Goal to Smith. Margin back out to 9 points. Smith assessed the situation. Instead of going back for the kick, as his opponent was on the ground, picked the ball up and from point blank range puts through his second. And back-to-back goals, got the last goal for the Cougars in the first half, and the first one in the second half, and he has two to go along with probably 20 plus possessions in an outstanding first 2 and a bit quarters of this game. So 9 points the margin, 4 minutes in this second quarter. Ball back in the middle. Henry versus Hayden. Hayden wins it down once again, but it spills to Hetherington. He gets a handball over to Lloyd for the Hawks. He'll drive the ball long. Wilds onto his left boot. Looking there for Demetrio. Lands in front of him. Johnson picks the ball up. Bounces beautifully for him. Goes down the wing and finds that man Smith in plenty of space. Has Blake as short and finds him right on the 50-metre line. Has a player want loose. Now they fill the holes up. Smith works his way back into space once again. Has a height advantage on Childs. He'll head that way, asking a fair bit of Smith. Over the back comes Bailey. Taylor's there. It spills out towards Taylor once again. Ball's picked up. Free kick's been paid. And it's going to go the way of Jamie Marinoni. Just took his time there. That was Josiah Smith for the Hawks. The Kojonup forward line put enormous pressure on Deanmill's defence and results in a free kick to Jamie Marinoni. So this to get the margin out to 15 points, a game high, directly in front, 20 metres out. Pushes it across the face of goal. And a let off there for the Hawks, and it's through for a minor score. Margin 10 points. Be disappointed with that, Jamie Marinoni. He knows where the goals are. The ball to be brought back in to play. Straight down the middle from Tempera. O'Shea in best position. Could have been pushed under the ball. Spills over to Golter. Over to Harry Taylor. And once again, Blakers has found acres of space. Has a player running for him, and that's Lucev. And Lucev takes the mark uncontested. Tighter angle, closer to goal. And he'll kick on goal. 30 metres out on the boundary line. And this bloke does know where the goals are. Kicked 7 last week, hasn't hit the scoreboard. Played most of that first half in the middle of the ground. Lee Lucev, little bit of a hop and a skip. Direct shot on goal. It's a good-looking kick from Lucev. Umpire doesn't make any mistake as well. And Lucev puts through his first for the game. And that margin now out to 16 points. And they've come out firing in this third quarter, early stages. 2 goals to 0. And the Hawks need to get the response. And Blake has basically taken most of his possessions uncontested in that forward 50. And he's done it all game. They really need to man up on him. If he's not having shots on goal, he's setting them up. He's already got 3. Ball back in the middle of the ground. Ruckman go up it again. It's won by Hayden, but it comes straight to Hetherington. Wheels onto his left boot, but it's smothered by O'Shea. It'll favour Weasel. Tries to pick the ball up. Has McGinty there for the Hawks for company. Spills out to Mason. Does really well. Wheels onto his right boot. Tonkin in best position. Knocks the ball forward. Now Edgar's there. Could have been tackled without it. In comes Bellotti. Tries to knock the ball out to Zegger, but knocks it straight to Bellotti. Spills towards Taylor. He's wrapped up by Tempera. Managed to break the tackle. Spills to Jamie Marinoni. Has plenty of time. Goes short looking for Blakers. Could have been paid the mark, Blakers. Thought I heard a whistle there from Blakers. Umpire says play it on. Spills over to Mead. How's the bounce going to be here for the big fella in Hayden? Tries to get the ball off. Spent a bit too much time. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. Comes to Weasel. It's hot in the middle. Spills out to Matthew Marinoni. He goes short, looking for Pethick. Has Tempera for company. Tempera makes a terrific tackle as Pethick was about to have a shot on goal from just outside 50. And Tempera wins the free kick. Has players short for him. Overlooks him once again. Comes wide, right in front of the commentary box. Looking there for Bellotti. Edgar in front. Second or third grab. Could have been taken high. Umpire sees it that way. And Jared Edgar takes the free kick for the Hawks, centre wing. In front of Marinoni. Good looking kick and finds the chest of Demetrio. Still too far out to score. Wheels around onto his right boot. That's a good looking kick. And finds the power forward in Strawn. Demetrio runs on. We've seen Strawn make the distance from this range. He's going to kick probably 50, 52 metres out. Jordan Strawn already got one to his name. And the Hawks need this one, 16 points to margin. In he comes now. Just crosses 50. It's going to reach the teeth of goal. Has it got the distance? Goes over the top. How's the umpire see this one? It's done enough. Margin back to 10 points. Terrific kick from Strawn. Set up once again by Demetrio. He's been lively down forward, working up and down the ground, playing predominantly as a forward pocket. But Edgar put his head over the ball, won the free kick, centre wing, right in front of us at the commentary box. We found Demetrio on a searching lead. And the big fella in Strawn, he was the next link in that chain. He took the mark and made no mistake from 50 metres. So 2 goals to 1, 10 points to margin. 10 minutes gone in this third quarter. Up they go again. Hayden wins it down towards Marinoni. Tries to keep the ball in front. Spills out to Heverington. Could have been taken without it. To McGinty. Reeve in best position. Does the Shepherd. Allows Childs to come in. Childs misses the ball. Now the Cougars have the numbers. Weasel's there. Childs gets in and under. Tries to win the ball out. Still keeps it in play. Boundary line to be his best friend here. And it is. Ball goes out of bounds. Be thrown in centre wing. Done well there, Childs. Been good deep in defence. There's not much of him. He keeps his head over the ball. And when allowed a bit of space, doesn't waste any possessions. Hayden gets in front. Wins clean possession. Spills it out to Matthew Marinoni. Chucks it up in the direction of Blakers. And he takes a terrific mark over his head. Goes short and finds Liam Want. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Has Blakers running past. Goes wide. Looking for the big fella in Tonkin. Walton. And Charlie Walton takes the mark. And kick one from here in the first quarter. Probably a little bit further out. So distance no problem for the big fella. And Charlie Walton. This to get that margin back to 16 points. In he comes now. Knows where the goals are. 45-degree angle. Left footer. Good looking kick from Walton. No mistake. He knew it was going through. As soon as it left his boot. Margin back out to 16 points. 3 goals to 1. Halfway through this third quarter. Blakers has been instrumental in most of Kojonup's goal-scoring opportunities. Some terrific marks contested. Been uncontested for most of them. Ran past Liam Want, but Want knew what he was doing. He knew Walton had the size advantage over Gleeson. Walton took the chest mark and made no mistake from 40 metres out. Margin 16 points. Ball back in the middle. This time Jonty East doing the ruck work. Hayden wins it down uncontested. Umpire's seen a free kick in the middle of the ground. It will go the way of Rhett Lloyd for the Hawks. Been good today, Lloyd. Beautiful left foot kick of the footy. Has lead short. Probably should look for Strawn or Mason. Straight down the middle of the ground goes Lloyd. It's a good looking kick. It's going to carry over Strawn. And Ashton takes the mark. Goes wider and finds Jamie Marinoni. Has Bellotti in the middle of the ground. Risky kick, but he had time to take the mark. Going short through the middle. He finds Matthew Marinoni. Now they're inside the centre square. Plays on straight away. No pressure on the mark. Goes wide. Looking for the big fella in Hayden, but over the back is Harry Taylor. And he takes the mark. Goes in short and finds Jamie Marinoni. Just maintaining possession. The Cougars at the moment. Lucive short. Big Charlie Walton. Told to kick it long. Look there for Lucive. Over the top. comes Gleeson with the spoil. Spills back towards Jamie Marinoni. Out to Ben Taylor. Stacks on the mill. One of them is Heverington. Ben Taylor will pick himself off the bottom of the pack. Umpire to throw the ball up. Just inside forward 50 for the Cougars. 16 points the margin. It's one down by Hayden. Straight to Elusive. Spills out to Charles. Just chucks it onto his boot. Strawn in best position. And that's a terrific mark by Strawn in front of a quality defender in Abbott. He goes wide and finds McGinty. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Has Edgar running past. Decides to go shorter, looking for Mason. Couldn't take the mark. Spills over to O'Shea. Handball back out towards Abbott. Goes inside and finds Matthew Marinoni. Now they have the numbers out. One of them is Ben Taylor. He has plenty of space. Has players running for him. Being called to play on now. Gets onto his left boot. Looking for Harry Taylor. How will it bounce? Has a couple in front of Bailey. Gets around Bailey. Ball's knocked out of his hands. Will go out of bounds. Be thrown in. 2 kicks out from Kojonup's goal. 15 minutes gone in the third quarter. 10 points the margin. Ball's one out. Comes towards Luciv. Could have been pushed in the back there by Leggerini. Umpire doesn't see it that way. Umpire will come and throw the ball up. Be Hayden versus East. He's a big man. East gets him out of the way this time. That's a feet on its own. Comes towards Luciv. Gets around Heverington. Gets onto his right boot and finds Blakers once again uncontested. Wheels around on the mark. Goes short. The big framer Walton takes another terrific mark in front of Tempera. And he loves this spot, does Walton. He'll go back looking for his third from basically all the same position on the ground. The big fella Walton. Terrific kick of the footy. This to get the margin to 22 points. Charlie Walton. In he comes now. It's got to work its way back. It's trying. Pushed it across the face of goal and through for a minor score. Margin 17 points. So a let off there for the Hawks as Gleeson will bring the ball back in. Can play on if he wants to. They've set up the zone here. He's out of the square now. Smith works towards him. Long kick. Want in best position. Nearly takes the mark. Spills out towards Bellotti. Wrapped up straight away is Bellotti by Hetherington. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. 16 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. Kojonup flexing their muscles. Spills out the Elusive. Tries to get the handball over to O'Shea, but he was under pressure straight away. Knocked out by the Hawks, and O'Shea for the Cougars will take the free kick. Got a player short. Carries his head. That was Smith. Spills out the back towards Taylor. How will it bounce? Coming through with Marinoni, but he's given away the free kick, and Leggerini will take the relieving free kick deep inside defensive 50 for the Hawks. Under siege at the moment. Not his best looking kick, Leggerini, but those who know him, it's not dissimilar to some of the other ones he has. Spills out towards Elusive, just puts it onto his boot. The big fella Walton. Free kick's been paid, and Leggerini has given away the free kick. And this time Jamie Marinoni will take the free kick. As another couple of cousins and a niece walk past. Tate, Sienna and Ashley, hello. Wave. Welcome to the footy. Wave. Jamie Marinoni, this to extend the margin. In he comes now, 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. And Blakers has taken the mark uncontested. He'll wheel around the man on the mark, and he's made no mistake. Mitch Blakers, he puts through his fourth. As an old defender from last century, that is criminal, that is a coach killer. As Mitch Blakers takes an uncontested overhead mark right on the goal line. Sloppy defence there by the home side, the Hawks. Blakers just wheels around with these and puts through his fourth. And that margin now is out to 23 points. 7 goals, 6. The home side, 11 goals, 5. So 1 goal to 4 in this third quarter. Blakers with 1, Walton with 1, Smith and Lucive. And the lone goal kicker from 50-odd metres out was Jordan Strachan for the Hawks. Back in the middle. This time East wins it down. Favours O'Shea. Reeves being pushed into the middle. Uses his strength but handballs it straight back to Ashton. Socket off the ground by Lee Lucive, but it's hit the shins of his teammate in Liam Want. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up just inside the centre square. Kojonup's way. 23 points. Ashton this time wins it down. Straight to Marinoni. Gets a handball of sorts out to O'Shea. Illegal, the umpire says. It'll go the way of Brock Tempera. So they need a goal here. The Hawks has a player short. This time he uses Reeve right in the middle of the ground. He goes wide. Looking for Leggerini. Bounces in front of him. Gets a handball over to the call of Edgar. Tries to get the ball to sit up. Attack there by Bellotti. Gets a kick under pressure. Favours Mason. Beautiful pick up by Mason. How will this bounce? Bounces through. Hits the behind post. Ball to be thrown in. Terrific pick up there by Riley Mason. Leggerini knocked it to the call of Edgar. Managed to get the ball onto his boot. Under pressure from Bellotti and Jamie Marinoni. Now it's deep. They need a goal here. Mason does the ruck work. Just chucked onto the boot. This is going to favour Tempera. Tempera, the ball gets knocked out of his hand by Want. Spills over to Marinoni. How will this land? Harry Taylor does well, but he's outnumbered. Over the back is Leggerini for the Hawks. Just chucks it onto his boot. And it lands in the arms of Liam Want. Centre wing, right in front of the commentary box. Now he goes in front of the commentary box and finds Harry Taylor, the skipper for the Cougars. Got players short, goes that way and finds Lucive. So just maintaining possession at the moment. Has a couple of players short, goes longer, and Jamie Marinoni is peeled off his opponent and takes a chest mark, goes in board and finds his brother in Matthew Marinoni, and he'll have a shot on goal from the Charlie Walton angle. 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. We're right behind this one. And this to extend the margin to 29 points. 21 minutes into the third quarter as Bailey, the youngster, the fullback for the Hawks, has been assisted off the oval. Come back a leg injury. Anyway, Matthew Marinoni comes in. It's trying to work its way back. How's it going to land? Lands right on the goal line. And it's gone through for a minor score as Walton picks it up. Even that behind there, the defence of the Hawks was unaware that Kojonup had 2 players right on the goal line. So it was in play. They were in best position to mark the football. A minor score to the Cougars. Gleeson will bring the ball back in. Goes the long drop punt straight down the middle of the ground. Big fella and Ashton comes over the top, misses a chest mark, spills out to Bellotti. In comes O'Shea to help. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Henry back on the ground now to do the ruck work. He'll be opposed to Ashton, the veteran. Ashton wins it down, favours Heverington. Taylor puts a tackle on, spills over to McGinty for the Hawks. Just chucks it onto his left boot. Tompkins there. Bounce doesn't sit up for him. Mason tries to keep the ball in and does so. Handballs it over towards Leggerini. It spills out the back to Ryan Tempera. He tries to go back to Mason. The ball spills over. And 23 minutes gone. Third quarter. Ball to be thrown in. Centre wing, far side of the ground. Big fella Hayden's on. Wins it down towards Lloyd. Lloyd could have been pushed in the back. A few players looking a little bit worse for wear out there. It's been a hot game. Kojonup have applied a heap of pressure in this third quarter. And the margin 24 points. 23 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. As Tempera takes the pass from Lloyd. Centre wing. Goes long. Looks in the middle of the ground. Asking a fair bit of Edgar. Carries him. Lands into the arms of Bellotti for the Cougars. Right on defensive 50. has players short. One of them is Tonkin. And Tonkin takes the chest mark. Has O'Shea short. Goes wider. Now he's looking for Marinoni. Going to be opposed by Reeve. Reeve gets enough on it to affect the spoil. And it goes out of bounds. Right in front of the commentary box. 24 minutes gone. 24 points the margin. 4 goals to 1 in this third quarter. Sees that margin extend. Hayden gets in front, wins it down. They have the numbers here, the Hawks. One of them is Edgar. Picks the ball up, tries to get a handball over, finds Charles. Ball knocked out of his hand by Want. Some sort of handball elusive. Back to Jamie Marinoni. Has Smith running for him. Goes that way, Kyle Smith. If he can get it over, Tonka's in the goal square. Terrific tackle by Gleeson. As big Charlie Walton was running back to the goal square, all it had to do was sit up for Smith. But Gleeson effected a terrific tackle. Ball to be thrown up. Right on defensive 50 for the Hawks. One down by Hayden. Favours Luciv. Tries to get the handball over. Now Tempera's there. And Tempera trying to pick the ball up. They soccer the ball over the boundary line. And it'll be O'Shea out of bounds on the full to drive the Cougars forward once again. Goes short. That's a terrific mark by Want in front of Cooper Childs. They have the numbers running for him. Decides to go long. Looks for Charlie Walton. Over the top of him comes East. Callum gets a handball over from Henry. It favours Walton. He soccers off the ground. Soccers off the ground, the big fella. And puts it through. A contender for goal of the day from Charlie Walton. The Kimberley Accommodation goal of the day contender. And that's going to take some beating. Charlie Walton got terrific spoil from Calamese, his opponent, but it fell back to him. Assessed the situation quickly, socketed it off the ground from the boundary line from 25 out, and made no mistake. Margin now 30 points the way of the Cougars. 5 goals to 1 in this third quarter. They've completely dominated straight after half time. 3 minutes to go, so still enough time to extend this margin. The home side need a goal before the end of this quarter. Hayden wins it down. It goes straight towards Rhett Lloyd. Smith's there. Umpire's seen a free kick. It'll go the way of the Hawks youngster, and Kai McGinney gets a handball over to Lloyd. Wheels around onto his left boot and finds Heverington. Riley Heverington. Still too far out, 2 kicks from goal. Looks down, looking for Strawn. Carries over the top of him. Lands towards Johnson. Gets a handball over to Marinoni. Under pressure, just tucks it onto his boot. How will this bounce? Bounces towards Child. Wrapped up by Bellotti. Spills to the big fella in Hayden. He's tackled by Reeve for the Hawks. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up just inside the centre square in favour of the Hawks. Henry tries to come over the top, over towards Reeve, then to Tempera, wrapped up by Matthew Marinoni. Umpire will come in once again and throw the ball up. 30 points the margin, 2 minutes to go. Hayden once again over to Childs, breaks a tackle, gets a short kick down and finds Strawn. Surely too far out to score this time. Looks down for East. Over the top of him come Johnson. Then he effects a tackle. Johnson. Players come in. Temper's a little bit frayed. Late stages of this third quarter. Umpire throws the ball up. It's one down by Gualder. Over to Taylor. That's Ben looking for Harry Taylor. Gets his player under the ball. Soccers it off the ground. Looking there for Blakers. How will this sit? Just took his eye off for a minute. Spills out to Tempera. In comes Want. And he's given the free kick away. Unlucky there, Liam Want. Tempera takes a relieving free kick. Changes play. Looking there for Childs. He has 10 metres on his direct opponent. That's Matthew Marinoni. He closes. Childs goes short. Not his best kick. Taylor just soccers it out of mid-air. Now it favours Luciv for the Cougars. Gets around Childs with ease. Handballs over to Jamie Marinoni. Can handball back. Goes short and finds Luciv. And he'll hold the play up in front of Callum East. has a big fella in Walton on the far side of the ground. And he takes possession, and Childs stands the mark. Can go to Jamie Marinoni in the middle of the ground. Goes that way. He's still too far out to score. 60 metres from goal. Just doing as they please at the moment. Goes wide and finds Want. So Liam Want injected himself into the game in this quarter. Working deep in defence. Playing predominantly as a forward. He'll kick from just outside 50. Tight angle. This to get the margin out to 36 points. Top of the goal square will be best bet. Not his best looking. It's going to make the distance. Has it gone over the line? Lloyd makes sure it does and pushes it through for a minor score. The margin 29 points. Under siege at the moment. The home side, the Hawks. Kojonup have all the answers. Deaf by foot. Ball's brought back into play. The Ryan Tempera finds his brother in Brock. Still deep inside defensive 50. Need to hit a target here. The Hawks goes wide and finds Henry in front of Hayden. Plays on now. Goes long down the far side of the ground. And there's a siren for three-quarter time. Margin 29 points. 7 goals 6 to 12 goals 7. It's 31 points to me. But 5 goals, let's round it off to 5 goals. Kojonup had all the answers. They kicked 5 goals in that third quarter. To the lone goal scorer for that quarter for the Hawks was Jordan Strawn. Goal kickers, Blakers has 4, Walton has 3. One of them, goal of the day, will be hard to beat. Weasel 1, Mac Marinoni 1, Kyle Smith has 2, and Luciff 1. And for the Hawks, Edgar has 2, Tempera 1, that's Brock Tempera, Blake East 1, Ethan Demetrio 1, and Jordan Strawn has 2. So it's going to be a terrific last quarter of footy. Deanmill couldn't get their hands on the footy in that third quarter. They find themselves 5 goals down at three-quarter time. It's going to take something special for them to come back and win their first game at home. And we'll be back shortly with the last quarter. So welcome back to Deanmill Oval. As Kojonup hit the accelerator after half time. 5 goals to 1 in that third quarter. Took a slender 3-point margin into the halftime break. But those 5 goals to the solitary goal for the Hawks. And that margin now 31 points. We're moving in this last quarter. Ball in the middle. Henry versus Hayden. Hayden goes a big spoil, but it just spills down to Edgar. He gets a handball out to Charles, who's moved up on the wing. He's got Kyle Smith for company, who's been terrific. Terrific tackle by Smith. Lingered a little bit too long. And Charles wins the free kick. Goes backwards, but in the middle of the ground to maintain possession. Finds East. Not his best kick. Fortuitously lands in the arms of Kai McGinney. Drives the ball long. Abbott tries to go over the top. Strawn drops the mark. Handballs off to Demetrio. Under pressure, Demetrio. But the first goal of the last quarter goes away of the home side. And they get one back. Courtesy of Ethan Demetrio. He gets his second. Been good up forward today, the youngster. Knows where the goals are. Under pressure from Golter. But managed to get the ball onto the boot. And within the first 30 seconds, Childs, who's been terrific today, playing deep in defence. Now he's moved on to the wing. Found East. Wasn't Jonty East's best kick. Went past Weasel. Lands in the arms of McGinty. Strawn gave a contest. Picked the ball up on the second effort. Handball over to Demetrio. And Demetrio ran into an open goal. Under some pressure from Golter from the Cougars. And through. Margin now 23 points. 25 points. In the middle again. This time it's one down by Henry. Ball spills out. Egger could have been tackled high. O'Shea's there. He's been terrific. Spills back towards Rhett Lloyd for the Hawks. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Ruckman up again. This time Hayden knocks it forward. Deft touch over to Smith. He gets a handball over. Looking for Lucifer. Pose past him and hits East. Jonty East. Lucifer can run on. Do they play an advantage? You bet they do. Lucifer from 30 metres out directly in front gets a responding goal. Margin back to 31 points. Lucifer gets his second.
That's the camera.
I'm not sure if Lucifer was signalling 2 or 3 there. I've got him for 2. But he's been terrific. Took advantage. The advantage was there and ran into an open goal and made no mistake from 30 metres out. And the next centre bounce. Terrific ruck knock there from Hayden. Got the ball moving forward. Tackle. Smith was involved once again. He's had a terrific game. Hayden wins it down once again. Looking there for O'Shea, but it favours Jared Edgar. Moved into the middle of the ground. In comes Strawn and takes a mark uncontested in front of Abbott. Plays on straight away. Gives it everything. Is this going to hold its line? Just goes across the face of goal and through for a minor score. Well, Hayden's been huge in the middle of the ground for the Cougars. Basically won every ruck knock. Henry's done some really good work around the ground, but he's just too big, the ruckman for Kojonup. Ball's brought back into play. Favours Weasel. Marks the ball. Goes wide once again looking for O'Shea. Has Lloyd for company, but O'Shea takes a terrific overhead mark in front of Lloyd. He's had a great game, Lachlan O'Shea. Plays on now. Gets around Lloyd. Goes long down the line, but Strawn is pushed back and takes the mark uncontested. Centre wing, far side of the ground, 30 points the margin. Strawn will drive this ball back, won't quite get inside 50. Tonkin in best position. Over the top comes Abbott, probably sport his own player. Comes to O'Shea, looks for Marinoni. That's a terrific mark. Plays on straight away, looking for Blakers. In comes East, Callum East, wraps him up. Henry's there. Umpire's seen a free kick, and it's going to go the way of Jamie Marinoni. Draws attention, Marinoni. Puts his head over the ball. Has a player short in the middle of the ground. That's Kyle Smith. Can go short once again. Decides not to. Middle of the ground, finds Ashton. Has Smith running past. Runs himself into a bit of trouble. Tackled by McGinty as he kicks the ball. Pethick is there. So is Childs. Knocks the ball to his own advantage. Gets around Tonkin. Goes inboard and finds Josiah Smith for the Hawks. Got a player short. Carries in the air. In front comes Kyle Smith. Makes the spoil. Ball to be thrown in. Right in front of the commentary box. 30 points the margin. 1 goal apiece in this last quarter. Henry gets front position. Wins the ball down. Favours Childs. Comes over to Edgar. He's been good in this last quarter. Then over to Lloyd. Lloyd tries to knock it down the line. Looking for Mason. And he's spoilt there by Golter. Ball to be thrown in. 2 kicks out from Deanmill's goal. 30 points to margin. 5 minutes into this last quarter. Ashton gets Henry out of the way, but knocks it straight down to Mason. He'll get the handball over to Childs. Has Dimitri on the lead. Bypasses him. Not sure who he was looking for. It's cut off by Johnson. Deep in defence. Goes wide. Finds Tonkin. Tonkin had spent it before he got it, but he has help there in Taylor. Taylor gets a handball over to Gwalter. They have all the answers. He goes long, looking for Harry Taylor. Gleeson gets him under the ball and takes a terrific overhead mark. Has players in the middle of the ground. Goes back down the boundary line looking for McGinty, but cutting in front of him was Matthew Marinoni. Affects the spoil. I'm sure he'll be getting some advice over there right in front of the Deanmill interchange box. 30 points to margin. Early stages of this last quarter. Manjimup Tyrepower game of the day. Ball to be thrown in. This time Smith will do the ruck work. Opposed to McGinty. Spills over to Childs. Probably been Deanmill's best. Just chucks it onto his boot. Socket off the ground. Looking for Marinoni. Comes back to Marinoni. Over to Lloyd. Lloyd gets a handball to Childs. Puts him under pressure. Weasel's there. Smith is there. Marinoni. Jamie's there. In comes Weasel once again. He wrapped up in a solid tackle by Josiah Smith. Ball to be thrown up. Right in the middle of the Deanmill Oval. Henry gets in front. Ashton works his way. Wins it over towards Smith. Pethick is there. Angus Johnson gets around one. He's got Smith. Gets a nice handball. Sits up nicely for him. Smith goes short and finds Jamie Marinoni. Got his brother inside. Puts him under a little bit of pressure. He'll wheel around straight away and find Luciff 45 metres out from goal. It's just got a Lee Luciff run around the man on the mark about it. Decides to go long. Looks long for Taylor. Taylor fell over at an inopportune time. The ball beats both him and Gleeson, and Callum East will go out of bounds, be thrown in 10 metres out from Kojonup's goal. 7.5 minutes gone in the last quarter. 30 points the margin. If the game's not over, if Kojonup get a goal here, might be a bridge too far for the home side. Really flexed their muscle in that third quarter, did the Cougars. 5 goals to 1. Margin 30 points. East gets Blakers under the ball. Spills out towards Edgar. Gets a handball over towards Tempera. Luciff picks the ball up. Wrapped up by Brock Tempera. Umpire to throw the ball up. 30 metres out. Directly in front of Kojonup's goal. Deanmill end. Smith comes over the top of Callum East. Spills the big fella in Walton. Handball over to Blakers. Smothered kick lands in the arms of Pethick. Breaks a tackle to Lloyd. Shot on goal! Pethick! Pethick gets his first goal of the game and could have iced it for the Cougars. Margin 36 points. Terrific goal. Broke the tackle of Lloyd. Right on the boundary line, Jeffrey Pethick makes no mistake from 20 metres. There's not a weak link in Kojonup's side at this stage. They've got all the answers, sharing the goals around. 7 goal kickers so far. Blake is game high leading goal kicker with 4. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. And Walton still holds on to goal of the day, but Pethick is running a close second. Ball back in the middle. This time Henry wins it down. Favours Marinoni. Comes over to Ashton. Gets a knock on towards Kyle Smith. Handball hits Pethick. Handball over to Luciv. Tries to break the tackle of Childs. Gets a handball back to Blakers. Looking down there for Want and Walton. It bounces up beautifully for the big fella. Breaks the tackle. Snap on goal, Walton. The big fella's done it again. And he kicks his fourth. Just leant over towards Pethick and said, whatever you can do, Jeffrey, Charlie can do it just a little bit better. Terrific goal by Charlie Walton. He's fourth of the game. He joins Blakers. And this margin ever increasing for the Cougars. Can we get a nod from Jeffrey to see if that was any good? He's not listening. Was that as good as yours, Jeffrey? Four on the board for Charlie. He just leant over to Jeff. He said, that wasn't too bad. Let's see if they can go goal for goal. Ball's back in the middle. It's one down again by Hayden. Goes straight to his opposing ruckman in Henry, but he handballs it towards Weasel. Weasel picks the ball up, been good today. Handball back to O'Shea. O'Shea gets a kick up and under. Favours Jamie Marinoni. Takes a mark in front of Gleeson. Plays on straight away and finds a chest to Liam Want. Looks down for Walton. Walton gets in front. You won't get around him. And big Charlie takes the chest mark. He'll go back from 35 metres out. Going for goal number 5. Terrific kick by Marinoni, Jamie. A big Charlie. He likes that angle. In he comes now, the big fella. Direct kick on goal. Umpire doesn't have to move. And Walton kicks his 5th. Been terrific target down forward. And that margin ever increasing. And even 8 goals 7 to 16 goals 7. And since half time, 9 goals to 1. 9 goals to 2 in favour of Kojonup. And Big Charlie has 5. So terrific work in the middle of the ground. Weasel picked the ball up on the bounce, up and under, but Marinoni got front position, took the mark, played on straight away, found Want. He found Walton, and Walton made no mistake. One in the middle again, over towards O'Shea from Hayden. Gets the ball onto his boot. Harry Taylor in front position. In comes the big fella, Hayden, for the Cougars. He's wrapped up by Lloyd. No prior. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up just inside the centre square. Right of centre, favouring the Cougars. 48 points the margin. Hayden wins it down straight to Smith. He'll cross 50, have a shot on goal. How's this? It's coming back from Smith. And Smith puts through another one. And that's his 3rd. Been terrific today, Kyle Smith. But let's not undervalue what Hayden's done in the ruck. Pretty much ruck for 80% of game time. A little bit of a chop out from Ashton. But Elijah Hayden, terrific. Smith had plenty of room, space in the wheels, crossed 50 and made no mistake. And 52 points the margin. And 10 minutes in this last quarter, the margin ever increasing for the Cougars. They're making a statement today. Ball back in the middle. The ruckman go up. One down by Hayden towards Marinoni, but it spills out to Lloyd. Gets a handball over to Edgar. Edgar goes onto his left boot, looking there for East. Tonkin comes across in front. Spills out to Strawn. Over to O'Shea. Been one of his best. Now it spills to Hayden. Has players in the middle of the ground. Decides to go short to Blakers. Loose once again. Could have a bounce. Has one. Could have another. Goes inboard looking for the big fella. And Walton takes another mark. Terrific kick by Blakers. Could have had another bounce and a shot on goal. Unselfishly seen Walton. And Walton will go back for goal number 6, 25 metres out. This for his third in the last quarter. Charlie Walton. In he comes now. Gentle run up. Made the goal umpire work a little bit, but it's good enough. And another one to Walton. He's 6th of the game, 3rd for the last quarter. And this margin is getting ugly now. 15 minutes gone. Still plenty of time. And there hasn't been many moments other than the only goal scored in this last quarter where Deanmill have got it inside their forward 50. So a neat 10 goals to margin. 15 and a half minutes gone in the last quarter. Ball back in the middle. Hayden wins it down again to Luciff. Handball to Matthew Marinoni. Finds his brother in Jamie. Still 2 kicks from goal. Go for the big fella. Goes shorter and finds Harry Taylor. So Harry Taylor takes a chest mark. Worked up and down the ground today, Harry Taylor. Hasn't got a goal so far. With Walton getting 6, Blake is 4. And Kyle Smith, who's been terrific today, has 3. So Harry Taylor will kick just on 50. Distance won't be a problem. In he comes now. Just crosses 50. It's going to land at the top of the goal square. Where's the big fella over the top? Came Blakers looking for the mark. Ball's rushed through by the Hawks defence and Reeve. Through for a minor score. 61 points to margin. Ryan Tempera to bring the ball back into play. Goes on the far side of the ground. Has Henry loose. Coming across in front of him was Jermaine Weasel. And spoils the ball. Plenty of support from the home crowd. Might have just come off his boot as he's running across. Free kick will go the way of Henry for the Hawks, just outside 50. Keeps it along the boundary line. In front, Tonkin takes a terrific mark. No weak links today for the Cougars. Tonkin will drive the ball long. Gets it just inside 50. Reeve in best position. Taylor takes the spoil. Reeve back onto it. Second effort. Could have been pushed in the back there by Want. And the relieving free kick will go the way of Joshua Reeve for the Hawks. Goes wide. And finds Lloyd. Still deep inside defensive 50. Just trying to maintain possession, the Hawks. All options cut off. Shorter option. No disrespect, Cooper. Finds Childs just inside 50. Plays on now. Want put some pressure on. Now they're outside defensive 50. Looking for Tempera. It spills over the boundary line. Free kick will go the way of Tempera. Interesting one. I'd like some more comments on this. I'm pretty sure that was kicked out by Deanmill and they received a free kick. So not sure how that happened, but the umpires are in the best position. Tempera drives the ball long. That's Brock Tempera. They have the numbers here. One Strawn, second grab, takes the mark in amongst a couple. Lucky there, Tonkin and Hayden. Drives it, looking for Demetrio. Pushing back is Abbott. Now they have the numbers. One of them is Ashton, then O'Shea. Now they're on their own. He goes wide, looking for Jamie Marinoni. He'll play on. Could have had a bounce. Decides to use the best option in Harry Taylor. Taylor slows it down. Marinoni still in the middle if he wants him. Luciv. Looking there for Luciv. Lands in front of him. Puts him under pressure. Spills to Want. There's Blakers on his own. Receives a free kick from Pethick. Slips over in front of Smith, but has time to go on. Mark's taken by Ryan Tempera. Goes short and finds Rayson in the middle of the ground. He goes wide and finds Strawn. Strawn has Mason at centre half forward if he can find him. Beautiful left foot kick. Mason's got some space. He's going to be run down by Marinoni. Affects the spoil. Puts him off the kick. Now they have the numbers in Gualter. Could have taken the ball off the ground. Will this sit for him? Yes, it does. Beautiful pickup on the far side of the ground. Goes short and finds O'Shea in front of Lloyd. Right in front of the Kojonup interchange box. Goes inboard and finds a big fella in Hayden. Has Ashton. Has Ben Taylor. Ashton still on his own in the middle of the ground. Just taking his time now. Decides to go long. Looking for Luciv. Luciv works his player under the ball. It sits up for him. He has the motor and the time. Looks down for the big fella Walton. East makes the spoil and gets it out of bounds. Ball to be thrown in 35 metres out from Kojonup's goal. 61 points the margin. Second half, all one-way traffic the way of the Cougars. In front was Blakers. Wins it down towards Jamie Marinoni. Fumbles it a bit, but gets the handball over to Want. Just puts the ball onto his boot. Taylor puts his foot out, and it goes through for a goal. And Taylor gets his name on the board. That's Harry. Could have let the ball go through, but just chucked his size 12 out. And it goes through, margin out to 67 points. Complete dominance in the second half by Kojonup. Deanmill have had no answers whatsoever and will need to go back to the drawing board. Completely outclassed by foot and scoreboard pressure. And Taylor, Harry Taylor, becomes the 8th goal kicker for the Cougars. Not as good as Charlie's yet, but not bad. Ball back in the middle of the ground. Up they go once again. It's one down by Hayden to Smith. We've called that many a time today. Looks forward for Harry Taylor, the last goal kicker. Wheels onto his left boot. Not his best looking kick. Spills out towards Smith. He's wrapped up by Reeve in a terrific tackle. Umpire will come in, throw the ball up just inside forward 50 for the Cougars. Nearly 22 minutes gone in this last quarter. Smith wins the ruckwork, takes clean possession, gets rid of one, tackled by Gleeson as he's about to handball, spills towards Matthew Marinoni, out towards Hetherington. Tempera gets a handball out, but straight elusive. Free kick's been paid. Tempera taking high in the tackle. Brock Tempera will win the free kick. Tried his heart out in the second half, goes wide and finds Riley Hetherington. He'll go down the line looking for Demetrio. Has Gwalter for company. Could have taken the mark in the end. Spills out towards Tonkin. Handball to Ben Taylor. Back to Ashton. Ashton goes through the middle of the ground. Henry waits for the ball. Now he puts himself under pressure. Spills towards Edgar. Terrific pick-up. Free kick's been paid. It'll go away the youngster in Riley Hetherington. Centre wing, far side of the ground. 67 points the margin. And as Ashton went for cramp, I think he might have been done, was it Blakers, for the standing rule because he didn't stand still long enough because he had cramp. I'm pretty sure that's what it was paid for. And this will put Hetherington probably too far out to score, but he should have a shot, the young fella. One of the few forward entries they've had in this second half. Decides to go short to Rayson. Can give it back to Hetherington. Now Golter mans the mark. So just maintaining possession, runs around the man on the mark, has a deliberate shot on goal. It's going to land in the teeth of the goal square. In comes that man, Kyle Smith, and spoils it over for a minor score. So terrific game today by Kyle Smith. Even though Walton's got 6, Smith has been instrumental in what they've been able to do, especially in that first half. Also got 3 goals, Smith. He's been terrific. Tried to go short. Lands in the chest of Hetherington. He'll close and have a shot on goal. Hetherington! And through for a minor score. One of the few times they haven't been under pressure going forward, the Hawks. So the game fizzling out. This will be a long quarter. Kojonup completely dominant in this second half. Abbott to bring the ball back into play. Runs out of the goal square. Drives the ball long. looking there for O'Shea, but in front comes the big fella Hayden. I reckon he thought about a bounce then. He thought, no, I'll give it over to Harry Taylor. Taylor has Luciv running wide for him. He'll cut back inboard and finds Want. Has Pethick there for company. Decides to go the best option, and that's Blakers. Big fella Hayden running into open space. Blakers just holds the ball up. Hayden drifting out the back of the pack. Decides to go that way. Not his best kick. Missed the mark from East. Lands in the arms of Hayden. And Hayden finishes off a terrific game, the ruckman for the Cougars. And he becomes the 9th goal kicker. So not Blaker's best kick, but they've had a day out, the Cougars. He spilt the mark. Lands in the arms of Hayden. That's where it was initially aimed for. And Hayden from the goal square made no mistake. So 7-1 in this last quarter. Completely dominant second half. 12-2 in the second half. And Charlie Walton, half a dozen, the big fella. Blake is 4, Smith 3. And Hayden, Elijah Hayden, the ruckman, joins the scoring activity, becoming the 9th goal kicker for the Cougars. And they be wrapped with that. He's been terrific today, the big fella. Ball back in the middle of the ground. He wins it down looking for Smith. Doesn't get that far. Comes back to Henry. Just chucks the ball onto his boot. Mason in best position. Picks the ball up beautifully. Drives the ball forward. Looking for Demetrio. And he marks in front of Tonkin. Has Strawn short. That's a good kick too. And Strawn takes the mark in front of Abbott. And we'll have a shot on goal. 50 metres out. Abbott's done a terrific job on Strawn today. The leading goal kicker from last year. Only has 2 majors, but he's been starved of opportunity in the second half, Jordan Strawn. He'll kick from right on 50. In he comes now. Kicks on its way. Has it got the legs? It's going to be close. Ashton in front. Goal umpire in best position and through for a minor score. Goal saving spoil there by Ashton. Now he's there looking for the lead. 1 grab, 2 grab, and takes the mark in front of Edgar. Goes short and finds Marinoni, just 15. Has players leading for him short. He's going to look for the big fella, Hayden. That's a good lead by the big fella, and he takes a chest mark uncontested. Gets a handball over to Want. Has Luciv there. Now he uses him. Luciv has players in board. One of them is Pethick. Has a big fella got running his legs to get the handball back. Luciv is running into open space. He's going to look for him. Goes longer. Looking for Walton. Kick didn't have enough distance. And Jonty East takes the intercept mark. Inside defensive 50. Not his best kick. Looking there for Heverington. It's going to favour Marinoni. In comes Tonkin. Comes back to Heverington. O'Shea's there. They have the numbers. Heverington there. He's trying hard. Gets the handball back over to McGinty. Just chucks it onto his boot. Ashton should come in. Looking for the spoil early, but ends up taking the mark. Handball over to Abbott. Does he want to get amongst the scoring? He goes wide and finds Luciv. And under pressure from Gleeson, Luciv takes the mark. We'll have a shot on goal. 45 metres out. So if he kicks this one, we want him to run past here and let us know how many goals he has kicked. Got him down for 2 so far. 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. This will take his best, Lee Luciv. Little bit of a hop and a skip. Drives the ball long now. Hasn't got all of it. It's going to land in the arms of Taylor. No, it carries him and goes out of bounds on the full. Nearly 29 minutes gone in the last quarter. Manjimup Tyrepower game of the day. 1 minute to go. As Ryan Temper will bring the ball back in. Goes long, not his best kick either. Oh, that's a terrific mark by Mason. He'll put his name forward for mark of the day. Took a couple of beautiful marks in the first quarter. Temper gets around Weasel. Goes short, looking for McGinty. O'Shea tries to make the spoil, but he can't as McGinty takes the chest mark. Plays on straight away. Edgar's found some space in the middle of the ground. Has Strawn working for him. He's going to head that way. That's a good lead by Strawn. And Strawn takes a chest mark. Play on straight away. Finds Demetrio. Could let it go. Takes a mark in the goal square. And Demetrio kicks another goal for the Hawks. Only their second for the last quarter. But he's got 3 for the game, Ethan Demetrio. He's tried really hard down there. Unselfish there by Strawn. Put the ball to the top of the goal square. And Demetrio took the chest mark uncontested and popped it in from point blank range. There's 64 points the margin. A terrific second half by the Cougars. 9 goal scorers. Walton with 6. Blakers with 4. And Smith with 3. The multiples. Ball back in the middle. Hayden once again wins it towards Marinoni. It bounces up for him. He's tackled by Edgar. Great tackle by Jared Edgar. And he wins the relieving free kick. Has a player wide. Looks for Mason. Mason dropped the mark he should have taken. Had Walter there. Pethick could have been legged. They play an advantage. No advantage. As Blake has found space once again. Smith is still on his own. He'll go that way. And Kyle Smith. Best on ground for mine. Been terrific. Handball back towards Abbott. Abbott will drive the ball long. Look for Luciv. He's got Gleeson for company. Tries to take the mark, falling backwards. Comes to Gleeson. Handball over to Josiah Smith for the Hawks. Puts it into an open space. Dangerous. Henry's there. Tries to get a handball over towards Henrington. Picks the ball up now. Does well, the youngster. Goes to Ryan Tempera. Over to Lloyd. Lloyd goes short and finds Brock Tempera. In front of Kyle Smith. Plays on straight away. Goes wide and finds Kai McGinty. Has Demetrio running back. Ball doesn't reach him. Spills over towards Tonkin, who's been terrific. Handball towards Taylor. Taylor gets onto his left boot. And goes inboard. Holding the ball up. Goes short and find Ashton. That was O'Shea. O'Shea gets the ball back. Handball from Ashton. Not his best kick. Finds Edgar. Handball over to Rayson. Rayson can have a bounce and have a shot on goal. Does so. Has one bounce. Shot on goal from Rayson. And Cooper Rayson gets on the scoreboard. The youngster only played a handful of games. Under instruction from Edgar. Had a bounce. And young Cooper Rayson made no mistake from 30 metres as we've just gone past 32 minutes in the last quarter. 58 points the margin. 1 or 2 minutes to play. Probably the only thing O'Shea's done wrong all day. He missed his target, hit Edgar, who's been terrific in the last quarter, trying his heart out in the middle of the ground. Handball over to Cooper Rayson, and the youngster made no mistake from 30. In the middle now, Blake is doing the ruck work, wins it down, but it goes straight to Edgar. He's wrapped up by Marinoni. Ball to be thrown up. Still in the middle of the ground, 58 points the margin. Manjimup Tyrepower game of the day. Blakers could have been held. Gets the ball out towards Pethick. Wrapped up by Childs. Umpire will come in and do it all over again. Henry tries to get Blakers out of the way. Blakers is a big man. Spills out towards Want. Groundhog Day in the middle. The fourth ball up in the last 4 passages of play. Blakers gets front position. Spills to Want. Chucks it onto his boot. Where's this going to land? Lands in front of McGinty. Smith tries to sock it off the ground. That's Smith of the Deanmill variety. Didn't get a boot on it. Umpire will come in, throw it up. 50 metres out from Kojonup's goal. Terrific second half. Blakers wins it down. Over to Want. He's been good. Spills over to Pethick. Kick one of the goals of the day, but we've still got Walton in front. Pethick and Taylor. That's the podium finish there for goals of the day. In comes Edgar. Gets the ball out. Tries to get it out to Childs. Now Marinoni's there. Spills over to Smith. Best on ground for mine. Over to Childs. Strong works well. Tries to handball to Lloyd. Misses him. Goes out of bounds. And the free kick will be taken by Kojonup, the coach in Abbott. He'll go short. Plenty of options in the middle of the ground. One of them is Ashton. He takes the mark. Has Blakers once again. Decides to go longer. Looks for Harry Taylor. Carries his head. Luciv is there. Gets around a couple. Gets around two. Over to Marinoni. Back to Luciv. Chucks the ball onto his boot. And there's a siren. 58 points the margin in favour of the Cougars. Terrific second half of footy. They come out after half time and completely dominated the home side. 58 points the margin. With a 13-3 second half. Charlie Walton, well, what an outstanding game he had. The big power forward. Harry Taylor was quiet, but Harry Taylor worked his way up and down the ground. And Walton took over in the goal kicking. He kicked 6, 3 in the last quarter. Blakers kicked 4, Smith kicked 3, Luciv a couple, singles to Weasel, and Matt Marinoni, Peffick, terrific goal by Peffick, Harry Taylor and Elijah Hayden, the big power ruckman. And for the home side, well, Ethan Dimitro kicked 3, involved in 2 or 3 others. He had a terrific game up forward. Jared Edgar kicked 2, Brock Tempera 1, Blake East 1, and Cooper Rayson, the youngster, kicked 1. Kojonup Cougars, winners by 58 points, travelled all the way to Deanmill. They knew it would have been a tough game, but after half-time, they just completely dominated and run away winners by 58 points. And after last year's exit, they are making a statement early, and there's no bigger statement than against last year's premiers. So the Cougars, outstanding today. No weak links in their side, right from the back line. We underestimate what Abbott did up back. As much as he didn't get a lot of the footy, he made sure Strawn got less, and he had a terrific game. Best on ground honours today for a bloke that had a terrific game. As I make my way to the oval and try not to fall over. Goes to Kyle Smith. Kyle, congratulations, mate. What a terrific game of footy.
Cheers. Thank you.
So right from the get-go, mate, you know, you're outstanding. I thought your effort in the middle of the ground was awesome. I've watched you play over 2 or 3 years. You're just outstanding, but you normally play in a different position that I've seen. But how'd you find it in the middle today?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm used to playing a bit more half forward and sometimes a bit of half back. But yeah, I'm loving my time in the midfield. It's pretty handy when you've got a ruckman like we do. You know, we ask him to hit it to a spot and he gets it there 9 times out of 10. So it definitely makes our job a lot easier. But yeah. He
was outstanding today, wasn't he, Elijah Hayden? I don't know a lot about him, but we did see him come here with one of the boundary throw-ins, and the closer he got, the bigger he got. But he was outstanding today, and it was just good for him to see him get a goal right at the end.
100%, yeah. I mean, that's what we're all about, like just getting around each other and rewarding hard work, and he works his arse off all day long, so it's beautiful to see him get on the end of one.
And it's not a bad chop-out when Ashton comes into the ruck, the wily veteran, and he sort of plays as a ruck rover as well, doesn't he, Ashton?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've got a lot of really good role players this year. Like, we've got Gussie Johnston and Abbott in the back line that just do their bit. And yeah, obviously Brad coming in is a huge win when we've got a chop out like that.
So we don't want to talk too much about last year, but obviously it was disappointing at the end. But I think you made a statement today against last year's premiers. I haven't seen many games from last year. There's only been a couple, obviously, but I just think the way you move the ball and your teamwork and your unselfishness just goes a long way to what you're going to produce, you know, in 5 or 6 months' time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've been working really hard all off season, and just, you know, playing with confidence and hitting that short one and just opening the ground up, you know, further down the ground.
I like the way that your forwards move up as well, and like I've watched Charlie Walton in the reserves. Yeah. He's a big frame, but he knows where the goals are. He kicked 6 today, outstanding.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, that just speaks of our depth really when we've got guys that can come in like that and kick 6. You know, he kicks, I don't know how many he kicked last week in the resis, but he kicked plenty and kicked 6 this week, so he's amazing. Yeah.
So just from a commentary point of view, Kyle, this might be a tricky one. So we had Walton kicked a beautiful goal down here, so we had him on the podium for goal of the day. And then we had Pethick, and then we had Taylor, and that's the order we had him in. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I am. I think it's hard not to go past Walton. We call him Bear in the square.
Yeah.
Just tell him don't go far from the goal square, and yeah, it's pretty handy what he can do down there.
Well, he's a beautiful kick too, like from range, and I think most of his set shots from goals were from the same angle at each end, so he knows where the goals are. But we did ask Jeffrey as he was coming up to the wing if that was better than Charlie's. He thought it was, but we think Charlie's was better. But I just like the way you're going about it this year. You're obviously well coached by Travis. You're very unselfish. And once the ball comes down the back line, you just are so fit and move the ball forward. And for me personally, I've watched you play, mate. I don't know you. I've only met you right now, but I like the way you go about it too. And if you can keep Elijah Hayden fit, hopefully Kyron's not badly injured. We did see him come off on crutches. He's a big loss, but hopefully he can come back sooner rather than later, that you stay fit and can make a statement. I think you did today, mate, but well done. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Appreciate
it.
Cheers. So that's it from Deanmill Oval. Kojonup made a statement. 58 points to winners. Kyle Smith, a judge, best on ground. We'll see you all next week. There's the Anzac Day clash between Imps and Tigers. We thank Film and Footy once again. Manjimup Tiger, clash around. Kojonup, 58-point winners.